To 11 at the Dugout, 1413 Kelly Road, Apex.
Looking for a like-new ride without the new car price? Head to Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac GMC in Sanford and check out our Car Bravo certified used cars. We've got all makes and models. Each Car Bravo certified for quality and backed with warranty. Plus, right now you can finance at just 1.9% for 36 months. Don't miss your chance to save big on a certified car, truck, or SUV you can trust. Stop by Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac GMC today in Sanford or shop online anytime at wilkinsoncars.com. See participating dealer for complete details.
At First Carolina Bank, we pride ourselves on building relationships and doing the day-to-day things in banking extremely well. Experience the First Carolina way for yourself or your business today. Visit firstcarolinabank.com. First Carolina Bank, member FDIC.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the...
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your...
windshield wipers. eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying. Just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
They score! Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Much more comfortable this afternoon. Mostly sunny skies, a high of 62 and still on the breezy side. Overnight tonight, we keep it above freezing, 40 degrees under clear skies, and a pretty day tomorrow with highs in the mid-60s under sunny skies.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 340 points to 48,268.
Blake going to take advantage of the miscue shot right on. Rebounds available. They score! Nikolai Ehlers stays with the play. This one back for Leonard. That goes off the boards. Anderson gets across on McMichael. Washington still keeping the puck moving. Empty net. And Alexander Ovechkin has goal 901 in his career. His 53rd against the Canes. And that will make it a 4-1 game for the Caps.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. Happy hump day, everybody. I'm Tim Donnelly. Max Gorin producing the show. Dennis has the day off. And thus, Max gets to help us react to a Canes loss. But a couple of wins in the college basketball world and another one tonight. As I've said a million times, we are in the crossover season where it seems like every sport is going on at the same time. So let's not dilly-dally. Let's jump right into it. Here's the Big 3 at 3. Number 1. Canes lost to Washington last night. 4-1. It stings a little bit more because it's Washington. Let's just get that out of the gate, right? It stings because I think there's a lot of excuses that we can use for this one. I don't like excuses. Everything seemed really difficult for the Canes. It seemed like some of their better players may have been tired, right? 4 games in 6 days. You knew you had a time off until Friday, and it looked like it, which is frustrating. There was at one point in time, and this is no disrespect to Alexander Ovechkin. He's obviously he's a legend, and he's playing past the age that most play. But there was one point in time he could have had a rush, and he was making his way down the ice, and I mean, you could have timed him down the ice with a calendar. It could have been Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday before he got to his office, as they call it. And I was ready to make fun of him. I was ready to be in my living room going, look how slow that old guy is, until the Canes grabbed it and went the other direction, and I was like, wait a second, the young guys are just as slow. Wait a second, I don't throw stones if you live in a glass house, because the Canes weren't figuring it out either.
And it felt like Ovechkin was actually making like a ton of like defensive zone plays as well, which you don't really see a ton of from him at this stage in his career, but I felt like he was in there blocking shots, sticking the puck away. Like, it's like, man, our guys really must be tired. They're getting just caught all over the ice with this 40-year-old guy. And we'll talk about the Stankoven fight, and we'll talk about that whole situation. I thought that could have been the spark, right? When that happens and Stankoven, all 5'8", 165 pounds of him, puts his body on the line in his first career fight, I was like, there it is, right? Somebody sensed that the team was a little sluggish, like it was tired, and they decided, I'm going to go light it up. And then it kind of went right back to the way it was. And we'll have to talk about the power play. 0 for 5. You got to talk about it. The way I described it is I make fun of, and I don't want to say I make fun of, I tease, right? All out of love. When I'm watching a football game with a crowd, there's a big third down guy. Every third down, hey, it's a big third down. Hey, this is a crucial third down. That was me yesterday. Every time they went on the power play, I'm like, this feels like a really important power play. Gotta score here.
They really need one here. If they don't get one here, it's gonna then another power play. 8 minutes later, this feels like a really big power play. But it did. It felt like a really big power play to me. Some more important than the others. I thought the one starting off right at the beginning of the second period was huge. I like there were a few that were bigger than others, but to go 0 for 5, you give back some of the positive improvements you had made on the power play over the last 4 or 5 games. So it really was. It was just one of those games where it seemed like the puck weighed 10 pounds for him. Like everything was labored and difficult. Even when you think you get something positive, you get the puck behind the goaltender. You go watch the replay, and it's like, no, it was a centimeter from getting fully over the line. It just happened that way. Those games you want to flush and move on. Hopefully they can forget about it entirely by Friday and get ready to play another back-to-back. We'll talk more about that game at about 3:15. So don't go anywhere if you want more Canes talk. But in the meantime, we have to get to the rest of the Big Three at 3.
Number 2.
Duke beat Army last night, 114-59, men's basketball. The atmosphere was as cool as I thought it was going to be. Probably exceeded how cool I thought it was going to be. Slick move by them. They put up the banner for Coach K being the all-time winningest coach of all time, or all-time winningest coach of all time. Goodness gracious. For having more wins than any coach in the history of college basketball, which is, I think he had 70 of them with Army. So that's a nice little move by them. I'm surprised, and I'll say this over and over again, I'm surprised more power conference teams don't make that trip. Do you know when was the last time a power conference team played at Army? When Duke did it in 1997. And then it was top to bottom a cool experience for the players. The cadets jumping up and down. They were down 40, and the cadets were still going nuts and still excited for it. They broke the record for attendance in their arena. It was a really cool moment. And then Duke won 114-59. And I do think there are some basketball lessons that they actually could learn. I don't think it was a completely, we're giving up the opportunity to learn about ourselves as a basketball team in order to go have a cool experience on Veterans Day and honor Coach K. I think it was a productive day. I think they can improve from it. I think they took a boatload of threes. And I'm not sure if that's the way they want to operate when they're going up against a team whose tallest guy's listed at 6'8". When you have a massive height advantage, size advantage, power advantage, just because you're by the way, they were making their threes, so we're nitpicking here. But just because you can doesn't mean treat them as if they are a equal opponent, right? You find their weakness, you exploit that. You don't just go, well, we're faster, so we're going to pull up for threes in the first 10 seconds of the shot clock every time. But yeah, it was like I said, it was cool. I'm jealous. If you were there covering the game, I'm jealous. If you got to be a part of that game, because it did look like a really cool deal. That's number 2. Let's get to number 3.
Number 3.
UNC beat Radford 89-74. This one had some different storylines, right? First of all, 89-74, you're getting like real minutes, right? You don't coast at all with a 15-point lead. Even if it gets up to 20, you're still, you want a little bit more breathing space. So UNC played a more real basketball game, thanks to, in part, one of their old nemesis, Dennis Parker Jr., who played his first, I think, 2 years at NC State. And if you go back to his freshman year, which would have been the Final Four year for NC State, there were points in time where I was screaming for Dennis Parker Jr. to get more minutes at State as a young player that had shown flashes. He ended up getting there was some kind of sickness or something, and he missed large portions of the season. But he had flashed in the ACC already. 23.6 rebounds for Radford after transferring to NC State, which gave UNC a like a fastball feel, at least one guy. There was no Seth Trimble, which obviously they're going to be without him for, a month, 2 months, whatever it's going to be for UNC. But here's the part that I think was a really good experience for them. The refs wanted to make it about them. Caleb Wilson didn't play. I mean, he was in foul trouble the first half. Finished with his first career double-double, but he was in foul trouble, which gives UNC a completely different look. He had been their emotional leader, obviously their best player on the floor through 2 games. Take him off due to foul trouble, that's a learning experience. But guess what? Some stats here are absolutely insane. UNC, let me make sure I find it. Here it is. UNC shot 49 free throws in that game. The most by a Tar Heel team, according to Noah Weiskopf, who covers UNC for 247 Sports. Saw this on Twitter. The most free throws taken by a Tar Heel team in 21 years. Which was by the way, it's a good thing, huge advantage for UNC because Radford shot only, and I put only in quotation marks, 31 free throws. So huge discrepancy, but 31 is a ton within and of itself. So that is a grinding game.
I'm really glad that the Canes were playing last night, so I did not have the opportunity to watch that, because games like that where the whistle's blowing every possession and there's 80 free throws, golly. I mean, it almost doesn't even feel like basketball at that point.
It's a free throw shooting competition, and the refs made it about them. Or you could say, I don't always want to blame it on the refs. Maybe the players were playing the most physical game of basketball we've ever seen. They're playing rugby out there. I saw some of the fouls, but I'm not going to make this all about the refs. What I'll make this as is when you have a team that's coming together, right? And UNC they have transfers, freshmen, returnees. They have a little bit of everything, right? When you have a team that's coming together, a game like this, it's good to learn how everybody reacts, right? When things outside of your control are keeping you from getting into a rhythm. You can't get into a rhythm with 80 free throws. There is no such thing as a rhythm with 80 free throws. So when you just go, all right, this is going to be a grinding game. And if you leave your feet an eighth of an inch, if your hands are like, they have to be straight up and down like 6 o'clock. If there's anything there, you're going to get called for a foul. How do you react? Do you get frustrated? Caleb Wilson on the bench, does he get individually frustrated, or does he stay engaged, stay locked in, so when it's his time to come back out, you play great? Like all of that is solid things to know about your team well before you get in that situation in an ACC game or in a bigger non-conference game or, gosh forbid, a postseason game. You face some adversity, right? I think if a Tar Heel fan was injected with truth serum, they wish they won by more than 15 points, right? You wish you won that one by 20-plus going away. You wish you won that one. But if the lesson is learned and heeded and you learn more about your team and Hubert Davis knows what he can do when Seth Trimble's already out and Caleb Wilson becomes unavailable for stretches of a game, that's it's like a theme of the last month. All right, it started with the Canes, started with the Panthers, continues on to college football. We saw it with UNC college football, and now it's definitely there for college basketball. If you deal with some adversity and you deal with it well, and then you come out on the other side and you're made whole again, guys that are injured return, you're better for it. So UNC may have learned some things that they will value later on in the season. You get the win, and you learn about controlling things you can control and how to react when you can't. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is a full show, as I've mentioned a few times. Max is producing, and when we come back, it's time to dive into the Canes, including 2 minutes of gold, all about last night's loss from our very own Adam Gold.
Adam Gold in studio with my friend Ryan Monsine from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. People are looking around their homes right now, and they're saying, I need this, I need this, I need this. You guys do everything for the exterior of your home. How do you keep it from being overwhelming for the homeowner?
Right, Adam. The first thing we do is we come out there, do an assessment with the homeowner. It's a no-obligation estimate, and we can break it up into phases of projects, or if you want to break it up into easy monthly payments, we come out there, give you a good plan. It's no pressure, no obligation. And whether it's windows, siding, doors, roofing, most of these projects we give you a lifetime warranty on for the rest of your time in the home. And then you can also break it up into easy monthly payments and make it manageable for your budget.
I love manageable. I love easy monthly payments. I love lifetime warranties. Ryan Monsine from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. These people are amazing. You should check him out online, aluminumcompany.com.
Hey, it's Paul Ihander from 99.9 The Fan. You know, I love Thanksgiving, and there's no better place to take care of that meal than with my friends at the Butcher's Market. My favorite location knows me as soon as I walk in. I head on in there, check out that fresh meat case, then roll to the refrigerator case for some homemade pasta salad and mashed potatoes. Family dinner, Thanksgiving dinner done in one stop. The Butcher's Market, with 5 convenient Triangle locations. Trust them to make your Thanksgiving meal a winner. Do me a favor, check them out at thebutchersmarkets.com.
99.9 The Fan is partnering with the Salvation Army of Wake County for Team Up to Give.
We cheer together, we celebrate together.
And when our neighbors are struggling, we step up together.
Across Wake County, more of our neighbors continue to face nights without a safe place to sleep.
Your gift could be the one that turns the tide for a family in crisis.
So team up with us. Together we can make sure no one is forgotten. Team up, give hope, change lives.
Text GIVE to 919-860-5326 or go to teamuptogive.com to donate.
That's centered out in front. Anderson gets a piece on Leonard. And the Canes will transition the other way. Ehlers drops it for Blake. Blake going to take advantage of a miscue shot right on. Rebounds available. They score! Nikolai Ehlers stays with the play and bangs it home. The Canes are on the board. They cut to the Caps lead. It's a 2-1 game.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. The Carolina Hurricanes had things going in the right direction, right? They 4-game win streak. They were back at home against Washington last night, just had to get through one more game, and then they'd hit a little break before Friday versus Vancouver, also at home. Couldn't get the win, though. Lost 4-1. The one goal coming from Nikolai Ehlers, who kept a 5-game point streak alive now for Nikolai Ehlers, since he's kind of woken up following his first goal of the year. But that's the nuts and bolts of it. For more insight into the contest, we go to 2 minutes of gold with our very own Adam Gold.
Hey, it's Adam Gold here, and I've got 2 minutes for 2 players who had 2 very bad games as the Hurricanes didn't get any points in a 4-1 loss to the Washington Capitals, and it's all brought to us by Parkway Sleep Health Centers, parkwaysleep.com. What's the old song say? Yeah, Mama said there would be days like this, and the Hurricanes had 2 players have those kind of days. Keandre Miller has been great for the Hurricanes, but in this game, not so much. Actually, Carolina got off to a great start. Then Miller takes a penalty, momentum gone, and ultimately it leads to the first goal, in which he's on the ice, kind of ignoring the player who ultimately scored the goal, Brandon Duhaime. But then, Carolina got a power play, and man, this had to be a goal.
Ehlers sharp out in front, and a huge save on Jarvis by Thompson. You can't draw it up any better, and that is Logan Thompson's best save by far of this first period.
We'll give Seth Jarvis some grace. He's been great. And Nick Ehlers, by the way, playing at a very high level. But it wasn't a goal, and when we got to the second period and Sebastian Aho, who had a tough night, had a chance to get the puck deep, he didn't.
Now here comes a chance for Washington. Ovechkin feeds it up for Strome, and he scores. Dylan Strome's 5th of the year as he goes top corner, and it's 2-0 Washington.
Yeah, that Dylan Strome goal made it 2-0, but still the Hurricanes were in it because Jackson Blake and Ehlers combined for the goal that made it 2-1, and they looked really good in the second period. And it just felt like Carolina was going to take this game by the throat in the third. Then Miller takes another penalty. Sebastian Aho actually wins a faceoff, and then Mike Riley can't get the puck out of this.
Another shot in the slot. Second opportunity, they score. Jacob Chychrun gets to the front of the net, and a power play goal for Washington. It's a 3-1 lead for the Caps.
Jacob Chychrun, 3-1. The only thing that was worth watching the rest of the way was Alexander Ovechkin's 150-foot empty net goal, likely the last time we see him at Lenovo Center. Hats off to you. Grade 8. What a career. 901 goals, 53 of them against the Hurricanes, 33 of them at Lenovo Center. No visiting player has ever scored more in that building. Parkway Sleep Health Center. Sound sleep, sound health, sound off for one of the greatest who has ever done it, and a night to forget.
Thank you very much to Adam Gold for 2 minutes of gold there. Can't say I'll miss seeing Ovechkin score all those goals in the Lenovo Center.
No, me neither.
That's a whole bunch of them. But with that being said, that game, letdown game, right? What did Adam say? Mama said there'll be days like this. There are always going to be games like that, right? It's hockey. No one's going to go undefeated. Nobody's going to play their best every game. There are some things that I think are a little bit more bummer than that. Specifically, Sebastian Aho and Keandre Miller, right? Just making some uncharacteristic decision plays, right? It's one thing if you're exhausted, you don't have the legs, right? When you're pushing off for speed, you're not getting it, and fine, right? The team's a little lethargic, okay. But turnovers, not clearing the puck when you should, not keeping it in the zone when you should, those types of things are the ones that, even when you're tired, you should be able to lean on that style of play a little bit more, especially when you're two of the highest paid players on the team. You're two of the leaders on the forward and defenseman sides of things.
Yeah, and that's kind of the scout on Keandre Miller coming in. Like, there's going to be some high highs, and there's going to be a couple low lows. He's had some issues in the past. In the defensive end, moving the puck, some turnovers. He's had some penalty issues early in this year, and you're going to take the good with the bad. And it definitely wasn't one of his best last night. And as we've mentioned as well, Aho with a lot of kind of uncharacteristic turnovers, and it's just overall like I don't want to pin it on them specifically because just overall like they couldn't get anything going. Like you could feel it was a slog. It just felt very effortful. It felt reminiscent, honestly, of a lot of playoff games where they're just struggling to be able to build up any kind of momentum and get anything going. Even like down the stretch as they're down 2 goals and they need to get shots on, like they're missing the net, pucks are coming out of the zone because the passes back to the point just aren't there. And it just felt very much like a drag. It was just one of those nights, and hopefully they can shake it off. They get 2 days of rest before coming back on Friday and playing Vancouver, but I don't want to single out anybody really, just because I don't think anybody other than you could say the Blake line was pretty good, but other than that, again, it's just pretty shaky all around.
I agree with everything you just said. The singling out of Aho and Miller was not like a ha-ha, nanny, boo-boo, which, by the way, is hitting my son's age group. When in soccer practice, there's some nanny, boo-boos going on. It wasn't that, but it was and I've told this story a few times. I got some buddies that are Ranger fans. When the Keandre Miller move happened, they're immediately in the group chat saying what you just said.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, man, the boneheaded turnovers and be ready for this, that, and the other. And my response always was, I don't know. I think the Canes can reel that in, right? You do that too many times, the scowl from Rod Brindamore is going to get to you. But on a night where he does it, I do think I don't think it's you wake up, you're wearing a different sweater, and all of a sudden now it's solved. It's going to be over time. You're going to have to, watch the Canes culture rub off on him. But in a night where he does it and there's some Aho similarities, it's going like, well, that's gonna eat it. The impact, right? Because even Mr. Or second Mr. Kane, whatever you want to call him, alternate Mr. Kane, is doing some of the same thing. So it's just, I wanted to see him, even when they're tired, lock in and recognize, right? And I don't want to give him too much, leeway for being tired, right? You're a professional athlete, be in good cardio. But there is a recognition where it's like, you know what, guys? We don't have our fastball today. We're going to have to paint the corners. And because of that, we're going to have to be on top of all of our decision-making, and we can't have those lapses in judgment. It needs to be strong. And again, maybe they were due for a game like this. I don't think that ever makes it acceptable, but they happen. Maybe they were due for a game like this. But it was a stark contrast to what we had seen the last 2 or 3 games, where they were able to like jam the turbo button for 10-minute stretches at a time and be the more buzzy team on the ice. And that includes like the second half of a back-to-back with traveling in between at Toronto. That includes some games where, their legs probably were heavy. So I just wanted to see a little bit more.
It speaks to how well they've played, given how shorthanded they've been over the last stretch. So, I mean, maybe you could say they were due for kind of a letdown there, but I'm sure Washington was playing pretty inspired as well. They had not been playing well over the last handful of games. They'd lost like 5 out of 6 or 6 out of 7, and the only win was against a Blues team that has really struggled so far to start this season. So I'm sure they really wanted to get back on the right track, and against a division rival, they came out and they jumped early. I mean, immediately from the start of the game, they were controlling play. They were getting the majority of the shots. They got an early power play, and they were imposing their will.
I do want to. I mean, you got to mention it. Logan Thompson played well in net.
Yeah, he's quite a good young goaltender. He's not as young now, but he's a guy that before last year could have honestly been somebody that the Canes could have looked at because he had an expiring last year before Washington extended him, and now they still have their tandem of him and Lindgren, the two of the only full right goaltenders in the league with the catching glove on the right side. So he seems to frequently play well against Carolina.
And that when you're already in a bit of a slog and then the other team's goalie's playing well, it just adds to like the goodness, right?
That's what made me think of the playoffs, honestly. Just some of those games against Florida where Bobrovsky is a brick wall and then they're just physically dominating and everything.
The real, just from watching, again, I'm like just from sitting where I was sitting and watching the game, the real gut punches were they would go 5 minutes and I'd be like, all right, they haven't really earned anything good here. But when it seemed like they did earn something positive, they still like just inches short, right? Just out of their grasp. And that was the real gut punch of the evening, including things like the one that, squeaked behind and McMichael was able to save it with centimeter early.
Gosh, it was I don't even think it was moving though. I don't even if the stick didn't come, I think it was just unfortunately it was just kind of sitting on the goal line, and then
you would have needed someone to bump into it. But
and then the other gut punch, Freddie getting collided,
which we'll talk about later.
Yeah, with Stahl, but hopefully just precautionary. I know he got pulled by the concussion spotter. Yep. He seemed to kind of get up.
He was mad that he had to come out.
Yeah, pretty easily. So hopefully the best for him. But at least this year they kind of have 2 other goalies that they are confident in. If he's out, and I know that already they're probably thinking about how they're rotating the goalies, trying to keep him healthy. So, I mean, you can't account for random collisions with your teammate like that, so it's going to happen. But
I'm not saying as much on that one, but he was flopping around a little bit on the earlier one.
Oh, I mean, yeah, but every goalie does that when they get collided with a skater, though.
I agree, but I'm seeing it with quarterbacks, just being a former quarterback. It used to be if you got touched as a quarterback, to draw the pass interference, you had to flop and flail and lay there.
You have to go down like you got sniped.
And be slow to get up. And I've noticed since they've had these third-party neurologists that can take you out of a game, it's no longer like lay there motionless and get up slowly. It's get up fast and argue with the ref, because if you embellish in the wrong way, they're like, oh, look at that. He shook his head, and you better come over here. It's not saying that they shouldn't have taken him out. I'm just saying if you're selling it too well, you might sell it to the wrong people. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have the Dean's List coming up next. Who in the college sports world gets a few extra accolades? Stick around.
When you switch to Progressive and bundle your home and auto, you could save hundreds, and that's a surprising amount of money.
Whoa, that's like farmer's market money.
That's like give me a gallon of that locally sourced raw honey money.
That's certified organic heirloom tomatoes in every imaginable color except red money.
That's let's get 2 pounds of pink oyster mushrooms money. I'm not even sure I like pink oyster mushrooms.
Guess it's time to find out, because you could save hundreds when you switch to Progressive and bundle. Then the world is your pink oyster mushroom. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
It is I, Juan Carlos Santiago del Santiago, the coolest man in the world. Yes, I am back in Raleigh. Do I go downtown with so many places to party? No, I go to the Shocky's place. The good food, the fine drinks, the coldest of beers, and of course, the many, many beautiful people. I always hang at the Shocky's place, the coolest bar in the world, because, well, it was built for me. Juan Carlos Santiago del Santiago, the coolest man in the world. The Shocky's place, 8800 de Raleigh Road by the Shelley Station.
What if you could pull up to $500,000 in cash out of your home and drop your mortgage rate down to 4.99% APR? Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Right now at Loan Pronto, they've got the lowest rates in 3 years. With Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can get your cash in as little as 3 days. Pay off all those high-interest credit cards and even skip your next 2 house payments. One client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours, paid off their debt, paid off 2 car loans, and saved $2,100 a month. One call, life changed. There's no wait, no hard credit pull up front. You probably won't need an appraisal. Just fast, easy cash from your home's equity. Rates are at a 3-year low. Act now. Call 919-381-1760 or visit loanpronto.com for your free instant home appraisal. See how much cash you can get today. Loan Pronto, A+ rated with the BBB and nearly 2,500 5-star Google reviews. Call 919-381-1760 and see how much cash you can get today. Loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166171 on approved credit. Visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Hey, it's Desmond Howard. You want to win the weekend? It all starts with the tailgate. And for me, that means Kingsford Charcoal.
They've been bringing the flavor, the smoke, and the heat since 1920. No wonder they're still the gold standard of grilling. So fire it up, feed your crew, and let the smoke do the talking. Kingsford, the king of the tailgate. Get it today at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I failed to update this about the Canes, so I'll do it right now. For the first time this season, we did not have a first goal scored prediction get it right. There were some people picking Ehlers. Nobody picked Ehlers in the second.
What, me and Dennis can't get half credit for getting the right guy at least?
Well, you don't get half credit for getting the period and not the players. Why would you get half credit
fair.
the other way? And then that's everyone on Twitter. I believe everyone in our YouTube comments from yesterday's live stream. Nobody had Ehlers in the second. So it's the first time we've been shut out as a unit. Just goes along with the game, right? It was just one of those games where nobody was seeing the ice as well as maybe they should, including us. So we'll put our hands up on that one. But we'll try again on Friday. So be ready, 4:33 p.m. on Friday, right here on 99.9 The Fan. In the meantime, it's time for the Dean's List. Let's go ahead and put class in session. We will start with the requirement, the auto bids, as I call them. Anytime you're added to a watch list for an award or you are making finalists, semifinalists, whatever it is, especially national awards, you are automatically on the Dean's List when we learn of that information. And the Davey O'Brien, which goes to the top quarterback in college football in the entire country, released their list of semifinalists. So they're starting to whittle down the list now after they started with a preseason watch list. They expanded it at midseason. Now they're starting to whittle it down. Darian Mensah, Duke quarterback, did make the semifinalists. So Darian Mensah makes the Dean's List. Kind of ironic because he's coming off what I would call his worst performance of the year against UConn. But season-long statistics, it's hard to argue with him. Like, it's hard to argue that he shouldn't be in any inner circle of quarterback play this year from a statistical viewpoint. He's throwing for a ton of yards, and until this past week, he had mostly avoided the really, really bad turnovers. So Darian Mensah makes the Davey O'Brien semifinalist list. For the most part, living up to all that cash, right? On 3, and CBS reported $4+ million a year during the season at Duke. And if you're getting $4 million or more, you better be making the Davey O'Brien semifinal. That's like the bare minimum. You're making the finalist list and maybe winning the whole darn thing. So Darian Mensah makes the Dean's List. More Dean's List action. I do want to give a shout out to Army basketball. I like the move, hanging the banner for Coach K being the all-time wins leader. It's savvy as heck. During the commercial break, I looked it up. 73 wins at Army. 1,129 at Duke. They put the banner up like one of ours. Went ahead and got that record, baby. Which is cool. He also played there, but the banner just said all-time, winningest coach. It's just a good little mix. Good way to put everybody up there. Do you have a Dean's List you'd like to put on there, Max?
Yeah, I'll go with Mikael Brown Jr. for Louisville last night. They were taking on Kentucky in a nice college basketball matchup. It was actually a great slate last night. Like, I want to say 4 or 5 ranked-on-ranked matchups or good matchups with a ranked team playing an unranked team. And he went off for Louisville. I believe it was 29 points. In the win over their hated in-state rival, who's also ranked in the top 10. So, good start. They're putting on for the ACC. It looks like the ACC as a whole is kind of, bringing themselves back into the fold here of national relevance in college basketball. So, Mikael Brown Jr. On the Dean's List for me.
Well, first of all, a few things. You are exactly right that the ACC is announcing themselves. I had everyone but Boston College in the ACC on my Dean's List. Everybody except Boston College. Even Florida State and Wake Forest, they lost last night to major opponents. Florida State lost to Florida, and Wake Forest lost to Michigan, who I believe are both in the top 10 in the country. They were leading late, right? It was an eye test win for a couple of programs that were not picked to be anywhere near the top of the ACC. Florida State was near the bottom, and I think Wake Forest was 11th as far as preseason rankings go. So for them to be in the mix with top 10 teams in the country bodes well for the depth of the ACC. Wake Forest kind of collapsed at the end. You would have really liked to have seen them been able to finish it against Michigan. But
also, hey, shout out Miles Colvin as well with the early contender for poster of the year in college basketball.
He had one in the exhibition game as well. If I were playing against Wake Forest, I would know where Miles Colvin was at all points in time, just to be aware if I was going to be on a poster or not. If I were, deciding whether to jump to block a shot. But if you take away Boston College has lost some stinkers. I think they may even lost to a Division II team. If you take away Boston College, the only games that the ACC have lost thus far are to top 10 Michigan and Florida. Those two games I just described. Everybody else is undefeated, with including a win over Kansas, a win over Texas. Louisville, you brought up, beat Kentucky. So there's some inclinations early on that the ACC could be building something special. And it's bad. I saw a Kentucky fan. Somehow, right, the algorithm, I don't know. I was seeing a bunch of Kentucky fans and how they were reacting to the loss to Louisville. It's bad when you just start trashing your own players rather than giving any kind of love to the opponent in a rivalry. Instead of saying like Conwell and Brown, they had a good day, they were saying, our big four, 2 of them are hurt. This one can't play. This one, we're better when our preseason All-Americans on the bench. And I'm like, yep, Louisville must have given them fits for that reaction to be happening already. So shout out to Louisville. More Dean's List here on The Drive. Bill and Steve Belichick. It doesn't have to be like, the best defense in the world, but there are now some analytics coming out showing how much UNC is improving on defense. I want to emphasize that we decided about 3 weeks ago to just treat UNC almost as two different teams on the football field, their offense and their defense. Stop rate is one of my favorite defensive stats. Stop rate is simply the percentage of defenses' drives that ends in punts, turnovers, or turnovers on downs. So basically, how many times does the defense go out onto the field and they come off without allowing a point? UNC is up to 38th in the country at 65.9% of the time. That's really good compared to where they were 5 games ago.
It's good progress right there. Now, if they could just get some of that progress on the offensive side of the ball, they actually could be like a pretty decent ACC team.
Completely different beast. I think, and their schedule gets much harder from this point on. They beat Syracuse and Stanford back-to-back. They're going to have to win games 13-12. Like, they're going to have to bend but don't break on defense and get a little luck. Maybe even a couple turnover short field type deals. But UNC has 2 of the top 3 in the ACC in sacks right now.
Yeah. It's
drive killers.
It's crazy, the dichotomy of, they're taking on Wake Forest. Like, the last few years, or at least 2 or 3 years ago, those games would be like 55 to 50, like shutouts, defense completely optional. This year, that game might be like 9-7.
Wake Forest has gotten some good teams into some 9-16 games. Like they've and so as
their
UNC.
Defense is incredible under year 1 of Jake Dickert there in Winston-Salem.
A couple of good defenses. Maybe that's what we learn. New coaches, they can get the defense rolling much before the offense. Last Dean's Lister here. Let's see, I got a couple options. North Carolina sports gamblers. According to Brian Murphy, WRL sports investigative reporter, North Carolinian sports gamblers have set another record for amount bet in October. More than $784 million in paid wagers, more than $811 million in total wagers, almost $729 in paid winnings. All records.
So wait, what's the loss on that? Like $80 million?
784. In total wagers, it's like $80 million, but 784 in paid wagers. So there's promos for a bunch of those.
Okay, so it's only a loss of like
50.
Yeah, that's not
50,
so bad.
55. All our records, more than $14 million in taxes, which is the second highest. And the reason why they make it on the Dean's List is a good portion, and they're still debating how much goes where, but a good portion of the gambling revenue does go to the college sports programs in the state of North Carolina, which, in a time where there's a lot of new expenses, revenue share, and all these things that are just popping up that colleges haven't had to cover before, it's really nice to then just get a new revenue stream that you also have not accounted for in the past, right? So you get a new bill, you get a new stream of income, kind of cancels out a little bit, and you can keep operating business. So, this is what I tell myself every time I lose a bet. Oh, I'm just helping out the college student athletes around here, giving them the best,
a little bit more,
the best experience they can have. More winners in the state of North Carolina because I can't pick a spread or a total or a parlay or any of them. It's like a donation in my mind, or a fun coupon is how I actually think about it. Does it make the game more entertaining? It's worth the cost of the bet. It's like buying a movie ticket. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Please gamble responsibly. That's our, cover all bases. The Dean's List is dismissed. And with that, we're not actually leaving the college sports world because when we come back, we're going to be talking UNC-G at NC State men's basketball tonight. But first, it's time for Mainer Service Company. Tim Donnelly here for Mainer Service Company. Heating, cooling, plumbing, electric. We are... It's funny. I will say it does appear more true about North Carolina. But growing up, I moved all over the place. East Coast, West Coast, South, North. I've lived in a lot of different states. And everybody I've ever encountered says that their location has the most unpredictable weather. They all have the same jokes, right? You don't like the weather? Wait 10 minutes. And it doesn't matter where you are, everybody says it. It does seem like in North Carolina, particularly this time of year, it's one of the more true, where a couple days ago, What was the high, like 37? Now the high today, 64, right? It's up, it's down, it's in, it's out. And you know, a couple of weeks ago, you might have been flipping back and forth between turning the air conditioning on and off. Now you're flipping back and forth between turning the heater on and off. If you're working those systems, those units in your house a little bit more, heating and cooling, you want to make sure you have Mainer Service Company's number ready to go, because if you're working a piece of machinery that hasn't been working as much recently, and maybe you didn't get the Mainer Service Company out there for a maintenance service call like I've been advising you for a little bit, if something breaks down, you don't want to go too long, right? You don't want to have a night where you're sleeping in your winter coat. You don't want to have the kids go, I'm cold. You don't want to have to be starting a fire or something in the through the night like it's old school. So whether it's heating, cooling, plumbing, electrical, this time of year, you're probably running a whole bunch of them. Keep Mainer Service Company's number in your phone, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week service, all across Wake County and 50 miles in any direction from Wake County. They'll take care of you. The number to call is 919-361-0993. That's 919-361-0993, or visit them online at MainerServices.com. That's MAYNOR Services.com. UNC-G, Greensboro at NC State men's basketball tonight. What do you want to see from State? I'll tell you what I want to see coming up.
Holiday scratch-offs, what a gift it lets them dream just for a bit. Ski trip, cruise ship, sports car, pristine yard, courtside seats, fancy meats, holiday scratch-offs can't be beat.
Give the gift of what if from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.19 to 9.95. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
This is Gordon Miller from Miller Lending in Cary. With the Federal Reserve cutting rates, the most frequent question we get is, do I wait for rates to go lower, or should I take the savings and just act now? At Miller Lending, we toss all the timing questions aside with our popular no-cost program. With no fees charged or added to your loan amount, you simply close on today's rates and refinance again as rates fall. With many economists predicting rates in the 5s next year, why pay upwards of $15,000 to $20,000 in closing costs just to get a rate you may get for no cost next spring? Imagine the freedom to use that money for more important things than reducing your payment by the extra $50. Recently, we've noticed a trend of related party transactions as some of the nation's largest lenders have bought real estate or mortgage lead sites, driving closing costs even higher. Please don't throw away all that cash or equity when all you wanted was a lower payment. Call Miller Lending and see why a no-cost loan is the right loan for you. 919-447-3377, 919-447-3377, or simply apply online at millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender on MLS number 250-2146.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Turn things all the way up and find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I think the ACC basketball season is going to be a really fun one. I think there's a lot of teams that are all in, which leads to just big, high-stakes matchups, right? There's a lot of teams that have tried something different. How many times have we seen UNC return like a fifth year or a fourth year or multiple-time All-ACC pick and try to build their team around that? This year, I know Seth Trimble's returning, but he's not exactly in that same mold. And they went to the transfer portal heavy, and they have the top 10 pick freshman that has eluded them in the past. And all of that is happening. It's new. NC State, Will Wade is new. I mean, if you and this is no disrespect to Kevin Keats. This is no I don't know if there's the right way to do anything in college sports anymore, but it's definitely different. It's definitely different. So looking at NC State this evening when they take on UNC Greensboro, UNC-G in Raleigh, I think I have to lean into that and say I want this team to look like a juggernaut against one of these group of 5 teams at some point. And I'm not saying they haven't looked good. Don't get me wrong. NC State basketball has looked super solid through their first 2 games. Not it's not a gauntlet when we're talking about these teams that have won, top 25 matchups or power conference, non-conference games. They've absolutely dirtied NC Central, and they won by 25, I think it was, against UAB. And tonight they get UNC-G. And what I just haven't seen is juggernaut. And that's what I want to see, right? Will Wade didn't show up saying, well, by year 3, we think we'll have the culture in part and we'll figure it out. And, we're going to get to know each other early on. No, he showed up saying, I'm not afraid of our bully neighbors. He showed up saying we're going to be one of the top 4 teams in the ACC year 1. We're going to make the NCAA tournament. We're going to win, and we're going to win big. So part of writing those kinds of checks is you then got to go out and cash them.
Yeah, got to look good tonight against a team that is typically one of the I would say better kind of low major teams, but definitely looking like a struggle to start the year this year. They're 0-2. NC State's favored by 31.5 points tonight against UNC-G, which seems like a big number. But again, if they're going to fit this billing as one of these top teams in the ACC and one of these contenders, and they're trying to build up this culture, I mean, you need to take care of business, and you kind of do need to win by that much.
If I'm getting the vibe right, and I've been wrong on vibes in the past, so maybe I'm not, but if I'm getting the vibe right, NC State wants to be a little flashy, right? They want to be, and by the way, again, like Jim Valvano was a little flashy, right? Like they want to be a little flashy. They want to be a little like we're good and we know it. We want to be a little, we have some NIL money and we throw it around. They want to be that. Yeah, we wear throwback uniforms. Their coach has gotten a technical in each of their first 2 games, and neither has been close. Right? If that's going to be your attitude, then I will give you attitude in return and say, all right, I'm not going to be cool with like a middle of the road plotting 20-point victory over a team that you're better than. I want to see splash plays. I want to see highlights. I want to see stretches where your defense that's so vaunted from your time at McNeese State with all of this length on the perimeter is getting deflections and running and deflections and running and deflections and running. That's what I want to see. And is it like fair? Maybe not. But you've promised me unfair.
You're unapologetically coming out and making this statement as, we're this great team and we're going to take care of business, and we don't really care what you say about it. Even if you're a referee and you have a whistle, just go ahead and tee me up if you don't like it. So I thought it was a bit of a quick whistle on Friday, though, when he got the technical in that one. The
UAB one.
Yeah, it didn't take much on that one, but I think Will Wade's embodying very much like what State fans have been wanting out of a coach for so long, is that kind of fiery, impassioned guy.
I'll give you this, though. Quick whistle on Friday. I'm not saying it definitely had something to do with it, but if you get a technical up 55 in one game, refs are going to be like, all right, Joker, you're not doing that. You're not doing that mess here.
I'm sure the referees are no friend of Will Wade, which is how much fire he has down there on the bench. But again, as long as it's not really affecting the result of the game, like I think most fans are fully behind him, just kind of going after it. And I don't know if there's a rule in college basketball where you can only get a certain number and then you get suspended like in the NBA, but I guess we'll see if he keeps up the current rate of 1 per game. We'd probably hit that right around the start of conference play. So
he'll figure it out. I mean, he won't get one every single game. The thing about Will Wade has been everywhere he's been, he's won. Everywhere he's been a good coach. Obviously, there were off-the-court reasons why his career has taken this winding path to get to NC State. There's no doubt that I think he, knows how to work refs in game and things. It's just, if you're going to if you're going to make the statement technical, refs may want to make a statement technical in return to say that's not how it's going to be here today. I don't think that's the way it's supposed to be, but I've been around sports to know that, humans are humans and that kind of thing happens. The point I want to make about all of this, right, because I'm sure there's some State fans going, goodness gracious, we won by 40-something and we won by 20-something and you're not happy. I was willing to be happy. I was willing to say, just like your first 5 games, NC Central, UAB, UNC Greensboro, VCU, Seton Hall, before you finally play Auburn. I was willing, right? When he took over, I would have been more than happy if he said, like, we're gonna build and get to know each other and all of that. If that was his opening press conference, I'd be sitting here today going, everything's on schedule. They're still getting to know each other. And I've said that about other teams. Right? You didn't have to build it up, right? That's how he wants to run his program. And I think part of that is I think this is why a lot of trash talkers talk trash. If I go out there and say I'm going to do something, well, now I have to go do it. It's a little extra motivation, right? If I talk trash, if I call you names, if I say you stink, and this is not Will Wade's thing, I'm now just talking about trash talking as a mindset in general. Like Gary Payton, right? If you're out there saying you're not going to score a bucket, you can't score on me, maybe that's what makes him work so hard to make sure you don't score a bucket and don't score on him. So if you're going to come out and say we're one of the top 4 teams in the ACC, we're not going to rebuild, we're going to win now, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. All right, if that's what you have to say so it becomes heightened stakes, I'm going to raise the stakes with you. I'll be right there along for the ride. I want to see the game where you start off hitting your first 12 shots.
Yeah, instead of missing the first 12 threes like they did against UAB on Friday. But, I mean, look, they still won that game by 24 and handled it easily. Just a bit of a slow start, and you want to come out and be able to hit some shots early.
Yep.
They're very committed to get all your shots either behind the three-point line or at the rim. And I think Will Wade talked about it in his first coaches shows. Like 90% of our shots in the first game were at the rim or three-pointers. And that's the way modern basketball has gone. And he's built a team that plays to that tendency very well. There's shooters all around, even kind of, a little bit deeper on the bench. Like when you get Jerry Dang out there, they call him Clip because he's a shooter. And that's just one of the many guys. You've got Matt Abel, who is at this point the only player who's attempted a three that's below 40% so far on the season. And granted, it's through 2 games, and he's had a lot of volume, and that's probably going to improve as well.
And he's a true freshman in his first 2 college games.
Exactly. And then you've got Paul McNeil, who's basically like the one holdover other than Jordan Snell, who's just kind of he started as a walk-on, I believe, is still hanging around, bringing the locker room presence. Fan favorite, exactly. And you've got Paul McNeil, who to this point is leading the way, and shooting is his thing as well. So you've announced who you are and what you're going to do, and now it's time to kind of walk that walk. And they've kind of passed the test so far. Another opportunity here to keep asserting yourself through this kind of softer start, but it's all good to build up towards the big matchups that are coming down the road.
Even with that, me wanting them to show the juggernaut stuff today, if they don't and they still win by 20, I won't complain, but I'll want to see it against VCU. And like at some point, if you're going to be that team, I want to see the flashes. It's not like there's no deadline on it. I just want to.
Hoping VCU can continue to be kind of the mid-major competitor they've been, even though they lost their coach. They did lose to Utah State already, but again, that's another Mountain West team that can be pretty frisky usually. So
I think VCU's coach, let me make sure, is a Martelli. Phil Martelli Jr. So his dad is Phil Martelli, who obviously is a legendary coach. Quick Phil Martelli VCU story. I'll probably tell this again leading up to the VCU game for NC State. He was an assistant at Delaware when I was a student at Delaware. And I was working a camera. I was like student media, right, for our little student-run television show. And so I had a big camera over my shoulder. There's games tied. I forget who they may have been playing UNC-G, actually. Games tied. Getting ready to go to overtime. There's like 2.4 seconds on the clock. Delaware does not have the ball. And they break the huddle. There was a timeout. They break the huddle, go out on the floor. This is 100% true story. I don't even know how I would prove it, but I don't know how you would disprove it. Delaware went out there with 6 guys. And stadium full of people, coaches, both teams, refs. They had a guy on the inbounder at one end, and they had 5 guys on defense at the other end. And when I tell you I was the only person in the entire stadium to notice, and I don't want to yell. I'm like directly across the way from the coaching staff. I don't want to yell and draw attention to it, but I want them to know in case, bang a timeout or something. I don't know what they could have done, pulled someone off the floor. So I'm like with a big camera on my shoulder, waving one hand, trying to get the coaches. And Phil Martelli Jr., who was the assistant coach at the time, VCU's head coach now, locked eyes with me. And I had one hand on the camera. I couldn't take it off. Signal 6. So I was doing like a 5-1, 5.
Trying to hold up
1.
6 fingers on one hand.
Yeah, exactly. And he's looking at me going, what? And I was going 5-1, and I was pointing to players. And right as the ball is snapped, I saw his face recognize what happened, and his jaw dropped, eyes got big, and he froze. And the 2.4 seconds or whatever it was played off the clock. The other team missed the jumper, and they all the teams just went to the sideline, and nobody ever noticed except for me and him. And he looked at me and just like mimed, phew, and went into the timeout. And I was like, what just happened? And I wanted to, I then went and told everybody in my student media group, like, did anybody see that? And they were like, well, play it on camera. I didn't film the entire play because I was just camera up.
He's trying to signal that
I was
there
trying
were
to
too
save
many
the
players on
team.
the
My
floor.
roommate was on the basketball team, so I was not an impartial media member. And he just went, whew, and went about coaching the game. And I was like, what is going on here? And I think Delaware went on to win. So somewhere, it was either UNC, it was someone in the Colonial Athletic Association. They probably were owed free throws or something at the end of a game. They just played 6. It was the wildest thing I've most surreal thing I've been a part of in the media. I was thousands of people watching. One noticed that there were 6 guys playing defense. And now he's the coach at VCU. If he does it this time, I'm yelling, 6 men on the... Because I'm not going to let them get away with it now. We're not on the same team. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We're going to take a break. Oh, actually, real quick, we're a little bit up against it, so I'll tell you this. In the next segment, pair of tickets to see 3 Days Grace. I'll tell you how you can win, and we'll get into football at 4. Stick around.
Surprise someone this holiday season with a gift of Remote Start under the tree. At Soundstation and Security, we can install remote start systems in your car. Start your car from inside your house while you eat breakfast, and it's all toasty warm by the time you get inside. Or on those hot summer days that are sure to come, start your car and get the air condition running so you don't sweat. A remote start system is an awesome gift, and you can get it at Soundstation and Security with 2 locations in downtown Smithfield and on Glenwood Avenue in Raleigh. Online at myhotsound.com.
The Black Friday sales event is on at John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington. Right now, you could get 0% financing for 60 months on a new 2026 Ram 1500. Or even better, 0% for 72 months on a new 2025 Ram 1500. Or take advantage of 20% off any new Ram 1500 in stock. See dealer for details. In other words, it is time to get off your keister and get to John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington.
Waking up, getting ready, sitting in traffic. Let's face it, getting to work in the morning is a lot of work. But when you get a great deal on your favorite McDonald's coffee, becoming a morning person is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Now get any size refreshingly cold iced coffee for $1, a delicious mocha for $2, and a frappe for $3. Available only during breakfast hours. Price and participation may vary, cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Get ready, Durham. The CIAA Football Championship is coming to Durham County Memorial Stadium Saturday, November 15th. Don't miss your chance to experience the culture and tradition of HBCU football as the 2 top teams in the conference battle it out for the title of CIAA Football Champion. Visit DurhamNCSports.com for more information and to secure your tickets today. That's DurhamNCSports.com for CIAA Football Championship tickets.
I'm attorney Brian Ritchie. Workers' comp can be tricky, but my law firm will be on top of all the complicated paperwork and sneaky deadlines so that all of your I's are dotted and T's are crossed. If you've been hurt on the job, I'm on top of it. Contact us at ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Much more comfortable this afternoon. Mostly sunny skies, a high of 62 and still on the breezy side. Overnight tonight, we keep it above freezing, 40 degrees under clear skies, and a pretty day tomorrow with highs in the mid-60s under sunny skies.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones up 326 points to 48,254.
Let's move the chains. Time for Football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we jump into Football at 4, visit 999thefan.com or the 99.9 The Fan app and enter for your chance to win a pair of tickets to see 3 Days Grace with special guests I Prevail and the Funeral Portrait, all at the Lenovo Center on March 17th. So if you want the tickets, you have to head to 999thefan.com or the 99.9 The Fan app. There's a little tab to win free stuff. And you can enter for your chance at either of those places to win a pair of tickets to see 3 Days Grace with special guests I Prevail and the Funeral Portrait. Now let's jump into Football at 4. I will give you the nuts and bolts of the Panthers news first. Panthers injury report for today. Did not practice at practice. Lathan Ransom, safety. Rico Dowdle, running back. Trevin Wallace, linebacker. Limited Derek Brown, the big man in the middle for the defense. Dave Canales updated the media afterwards and did give some updates on those injuries. He said Derek Brown's issue is not one to be concerned about, not serious, and it is not related to last year's surgery. So it's not strictly a rest day, but it sounds like they're just kind of giving him a rest day. Rico Dowdle should practice tomorrow. That's just a guy that has had a heavy workload, and they're managing with the boo-boos and the ouchies. Trevin Wallace is week to week. So week to week usually means not playing this week, but that's me reading between the lines. And Lathan Ransom actually had hand surgery yesterday, but could possibly still play against Atlanta. Defensive players, I guess, don't need the dexterity in their fingers as much. Not throwing, not catching, at least not catching often. Hopefully he can snag an interception or two. But that's it for the injuries. For today's Football at 4, there is, the more I think about it, the crazier it is. There is a prevailing message coming out of the Panthers this week that practice last week wasn't good enough, which is wild to me, right? The fact that everybody at Panthers practice in the facility wasn't flying around with their hair on fire is absolutely outlandish to me. There was a lot of talk before the Bills game that it was the biggest game at Bank of America Stadium in years, right? They're above 500. They're playing against another team that's really good. This, that, the other. Whoa, whoa, whoa. And they went out and laid an egg. Got smoked. And granted, Josh Allen's pretty good and James Cook's pretty good. So, it wasn't as ridiculous as the Saints loss, but it was a bad loss. They lost by $1 billion. They go on the road to Lambeau, they win, and now it's very similar talk. You have a division game, you're above 500, you're going into your 10th game of the year. Like, it should be, like, that's the reason you play football, to play in a game like that. Go bury the Saints, move on to the Falcons, you win that, you're, like, not only in the playoff picture, depending on what's going on with Tampa, you're probably moving pretty clearly into the playoff picture. And by the way, Tampa can't get out of their own way with injuries, so and you play them twice right at the end of the year, post-bye. Like, everything is in front of you. And then we hear things like this from Nic Scourton about practice being lackadaisical.
Yeah, I mean, just getting our bodies back. I can't agree, though. I mean, I did feel a little lackadaisical, like energy, around. But, that's just, how it is when you play 10 NFL games, I thought. But, I just felt the energy before the game was kind of hard.
How? First, and side note, I don't know if I'm wildly impressed or a sign of a horrendous thing that the 21-year-old rookie is the one saying that. But he wasn't the only one. Ike Ekwonu talked about how it wasn't a good week of practice. Jatavian Sanders, the tight end, talked about how the mistakes they made in practice were the same mistakes they made in the game. There are an insane amount of I don't like just a willingness to say that. So then Dave Canales, today, speaking with the media, addressed it yet again, right? It was Monday he addressed it, where he said, it wasn't up to our standards, and I told everybody that as the practices were going on, they weren't up to our standards. Today he addressed it again on Nic Scourton's comments, his play, and the comments after the game. Here's Canales.
We really want the guys to earn respect, and the way you earn respect in this league is by how you play, how you prepare, and the hard work that you put in. I believe Nick has done those things early on, in his career here, is to show consistency in how he practices, how he prepares and watches film. He's taking coaching. AC Carter's done a great job with Nick, just bringing him along. He seems to add things every week and play with technique, and a lot of stuff he can clean up, from the game, certainly. That's every week. But just like his mentality, I like the way that he's just attacks it, and, the juice that he brings on game day, chasing things down. So I'm really proud of the way he's played, and just about the comments and all that stuff. I think it's an opportunity. It's a learning opportunity to say, okay, for us, for our guys, speak for your own performance. If you want to make a general comment, about, hey, when we lose, we're upset, we're disappointed, but the specific part of it like that, we can do a better job of just keeping those things within us, and the stuff that we talk about after the game on Monday and all those things.
I have questions. And the question is very simple. Is he right? Is he right? Is he correct? Were they lackadaisical? Were they not ready to play? Were their practices below where they should be? Because if he's right, the lesson shouldn't be him keeping it in. The lesson should be, don't give him the ammunition to say it.
Yeah. Well, it depends how much of that you consider to be on the coaches and on the players. And obviously we weren't at these practices, so we can't speak to
that's why
exactly what was going on. But if you're the players and it's not enough effort in the practices, and you're kind of goofing around and not getting locked in, I mean, somebody has to step up in that scenario and be like, hey, well, first of all, you should never overlook anybody. But if you're especially if you're the Carolina Panthers, 100%. You can't be overlooking anybody on your schedule.
I don't care
and
if you're
goofing
playing
off.
I don't care if you're playing Rollsville High School JV. The Panthers can't overlook anybody.
Exactly. So it's disappointing that they're all able to acknowledge that after the game. Like, they've clearly known that it wasn't up to the standard the whole time. Is that on Canales or is that on the players? Obviously it's hard to say because it's all just their kind of recollections of it. But it's clearly something is missing. There's something is not connecting here that needs to be for them to be able to make a step to being a truly competitive football team.
The answer is it's on everybody. And there's a saying, and this goes back a long time, I'm sure. It was one of my high school coaches that gave it to me, but I don't think he was creative enough to come up with it on his own. He used to say, are you thank you or bleep you or F you? Are you a thank you guy or are you a bleep you guy? And what he meant by that was we all have days where we don't want to work as hard as we possibly can, right? At this point, it was like, I lived at the beach, right? I was going to high school in Ocean City, Maryland, and we used to have workouts at 7:30 in the morning in the summertime. There were days you woke up and you just didn't want to be there, right? You'd be in the weight room, 7:45, beautiful day. People are getting ready to go. So there can be days where you don't want to be there, and maybe you're not grinding. Somebody should come up to you and say, hey, man, lock in. You're being a real bleep, bleep, bleep now, right? And you have two options. You can either say thank you or you can say bleep you. Thank you, man. You're right. I need to lock in. Appreciate it. You're right. Or bleep you, man. Worry about yourself. You can try to silence that person so they're less likely to say it to the next person and less likely to say it to the next person because they said it to you and they got cussed out. So now, I'm not going to go say it to somebody else. And that can end it right there. Nic Scourton, if he's right, which is a big if, right? Because I wasn't there, like Max said. We weren't at the practice. Maybe it was a 99 out of 100 and Nic Scourton has ridiculous expectations. I don't know. But if Nic Scourton is correct, and they had lackadaisical practices and low focus, whatever he was saying, going into an NFL football game, and he says it publicly, and your response is it's a lesson for him not to say it publicly, rather than it's a lesson for us to understand that if we don't do our business, Nic Scourton isn't going to let us get through scot-free. Right? He's not going to ignore it. He's not going to say, let's keep it to ourselves. There has to be consequences. We lost a game. It's embarrassing. Our rookie is telling us we weren't ready. If you weren't ready, that's not the rookie's fault. Now, what I will say to Nic Scourton is this. Can't throw stones if you live in a glass house. You better be there first, leave last. You better work hard as all get out from this point forward.
Well, I mean, he was probably one of the few bright spots in the game, though.
But not just play. Right? By the way, he's played well the last 4 games. Really, really well. But not just play, right? Because he didn't call anybody out for how they played on Sunday. He called them out for how they prepared Monday through Saturday. I think if, again, and it's a big if he's right, it's awesome of him to do. And everybody else better understand that if he's at practice and you're not going hard, he's noticing. And it should be everybody notices, right? It should be Taylor Moton notices, and go all the way down. Christian Roseboom notices, and this guy notices, and that guy notices, and they're all calling you out if you're being lackadaisical. And you should all say thank you. You're right. Let me lock in. I can't imagine a scenario where this Panther team can overlook. I don't care if it was the Saints. I don't care if they were playing the Chiefs or who's like tops or the Seahawks. I don't care who they're playing. Right? This team has to be their absolute A+, very best, most prepared, most ready every game to have a shot to beat anybody. The fact that anybody could go into practice and not give their absolute all. And I'm not saying like you don't make mistakes in practice. You're supposed to make mistakes in practice. But locked in, whatever the best way you learn, you have to. You have to. It can be uncomfortable to say what Nic Scourton said. And I'm sure he walked in the locker room and some people were not happy with what he said. But if he's correct, say it again next week. Don't learn the lesson to keep it, we can keep that inside. There's no real consequences to saying it in a team-only meeting. It's like, okay, unless you're calling out one dude, because that's embarrassing. If somebody wasn't working hard enough, you call them out in a team meeting room or a position group room, that's brutal. But if you're calling out the team, like we didn't do well enough, and it's in a team meeting room where we are all there, it's like, okay, thanks. Doing it publicly, ups the stakes. It's like talking trash. If I say you're not going to score on me publicly, it's going to be embarrassing if you score on me, so I better make sure it doesn't happen. Nic Scourton better be out there early, working on the bags. Late, staying late, getting a little conditioning in. Because he called everybody out. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. When we come back, we have a blind ranking, which I believe will be Max's first time running the blind ranking. And we have Hurricanes and Cons. What are you most confident in? What are you most concerned about when it comes to the Carolina Hurricanes? Stick around.
The Adam Gold Show.
I know they haven't really been tested, but I like everything that I have seen from this Wolfpack basketball team. I like their size. I like their versatility. I like the fact that they share the basketball. 27 assists in the opener, 37 made field goals. You keep playing like that. Unselfish ball, play defense, With their size and their talent, they could win.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
Welcome home from Baker Home Exteriors. Your home is not just where you live, it's where life happens. We're proud to continue Baker Roofing's century-long legacy of excellence, bringing that same dedication to your home. Whether it's roofing, siding, gutters, or more, we transform houses into the homes you've always dreamed of. Your home deserves nothing less. Visit BakerHomeExteriors.com and let's build something beautiful together. That's BakerHomeExteriors.com.
Hey girl, haven't seen you downtown lately.
Nope, sticking to our go-to places.
You mean like Sharky's?
Well, we love our Sharky's. Best wings and gumbo on the planet. But we never miss the $5 sangrias on Wednesdays at the new Salt and Lime and Mexican pints on Thursdays for $3.
You know my boy loves the House of Hops. No better selection of craft beer in the state. Loves their specials, their food trucks, and you know I love my wine. They have a wonderful selection.
And have I told you about our new takeout spot, Che Empanadas? It's right next to Sharky's. They have 20 different types of authentic Argentinian empanadas, and they are incredible, especially the breakfast ones. You gotta try it.
Sounds perfect. And how awesome is it that they're so close to each other?
Oh, it's perfect, all right.
Give them a try. Che Empanadas, House of Hops, Salt and Lime, and Sharky's. Just a hop, skip, and a jump from each other off Durham Road, Glenwood, and Grove Barton.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying. Just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
On the job, every minute counts. That's why Lowe's now has ProBlock Quick Dry Primer, expertly manufactured by Sherwin-Williams. Engineered for pros to dry fast and go on smooth for virtually flawless results that keep your job moving. It's available in oil and water-based, and getting it is easy. Order online by 2 p.m. and get free same-day delivery right to your job site. Lowe's, we help, you save. Orders placed after 2 p.m. will be delivered next day. Valid in select zip codes. Subject to driver availability. More terms apply.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Please, I don't know if I've said this yet today, subscribe to our YouTube channel, 99.9 The Fan. Over 20,000 subscribers as of a few weeks ago now. But we are still looking to grow that community. We want you to be a part of it. So search on YouTube for 99.9 The Fan. You can, and we'd encourage you to, check out some of the content, right? Click around, find something about your favorite team, listen to it. And if you like it, give us that subscription, right? Give us that subscribe, set the alerts, pass it around to your friends. If you want to be nice, you could subscribe before you listen, but we don't ask you to do that. We want to earn it. We're just asking for a chance. We just want the at-bat. So check it out on YouTube, 99.9 The Fan. Search for it, subscribe. Once you feel like you're getting content that you like, I'm confident that you will. There's clips from this show, clips from the Adam Gold Show, clips from the show that Max produces most weekdays when he's back kind of to his regular job, which is next up with Paul Ihander, although he fills in on the other shows quite a bit as well. It's a cool deal. Podcasts, whole bunch of stuff. 99.9 The Fan on YouTube. Now, at this moment here on this show, The Drive with Tim Donnelly, it is time for some blind rankings. So the way this goes, I have 5 ordered slots. First, second, third, fourth, fifth for a ranking, right? First best, fifth worst, everything in between. The game is, I don't know what I'm ranking within the category. The category for today is ACC basketball players, and Max will give me the names, and I'll have to put them on the list, and that is solidified. So if I put them second and then 2 players that are better get given to me next, I can't go, never mind, he's third, these 2 guys are first and second, and I have to do my best to make it work, make it make sense, and have a solid ranking. Max, take it from here.
All right, so first up, we're going to go, I actually had this guy on my Dean's List earlier today. We're going to go with Michael Brown Jr. from Louisville, who had 29 points last night in Louisville's win over Kentucky.
I have one follow-up here for the category.
Okay.
We're talking about like how good I think they are, not how well they've played. Right?
Yeah, how good you think they are.
Okay, it's not just like, well, this guy averages 24 points through 2 games, so he gets to be number 1. Michael Brown is on many preseason All-ACC lists. Very good player. I do think there are quite a few others that I would take above him, and I'm gonna bank that on Max's list over there. He doesn't have, like the 8th guy off the bench for Pitt, so I'll put him 3rd. Michael Brown 3rd from Louisville. Louisville has some guards now. McNeely, Conwell, Brown, like these guys, they can fill it up from distance.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what Louisville does if they match up against a team that has a little bit more size.
They got a good squad though, a lot of good transfer class, and they'll be up there at the top of the ACC for sure. So next we'll go with somebody local here. We will go with Darion Williams, NC State, ACC preseason player of the year. Where do you have Darion Williams in this blind ranking?
I have him very close to the top of the entire league. I can pretty much name the players that I would put above Darion Williams as far as how good I think he is. So now I'm just doing my math. I'm trying to read some social cues. I'm trying to see if Max has one of those people that I can name on the list or not. Darion Williams is already, he's proven at the college level. He was all Big 12 last year. Flirted with the NBA, kind of pulled his name out of the NBA draft at the last second, goes to NC State. He is, I think, orchestrating more through the early part of the season than we'll see him in big games where he'll try to take over more. A little bit of like, let me get my 15 and then let everybody else handle you. I'm going to leave space at the top. Darion Williams, number 2.
All right. We'll keep it local here. We're going to go to the talented freshman at North Carolina, Caleb Wilson. Where do you have Caleb Wilson in the blind ranking? So you've got Darion Williams at 2 and Michael Brown Jr. at 3 so far.
I will admit, I think my bandwagon for Caleb Wilson may be going it may be getting out of control a little bit. Starting about 2 weeks before the season, the college basketball season, I did the deep dive that I do every year, where I go try to learn as much as I can about the triangle teams, and I loved Caleb Wilson as a prospect. It was about the same time last year where I started telling anybody that would listen that Duke was going to be my national championship pick. I saw Con Knippel and Cooper Flagg and Kaman Malawash, and I was like, this team's going to be really good. Caleb Wilson, I felt similar about. I don't know if UNC as a team makes me feel the same way as Duke did last year, but I've been driving the Caleb Wilson bandwagon for a while. Now, through like 3 games, whatever it's been, the Caleb Wilson bandwagon has gotten crowded much, much quicker than I thought it was going to, and I'm not sure I can control it. With that being said, I do have him. I'm going to put him number 1. There's obviously one player in the ACC that if you give him to me now, I'm going to feel foolish. But you've given me 3 of the better players in the ACC to start us off with. So Caleb Wilson, number 1.
I have a feeling you're going to feel foolish because the next player for you is Cameron Boozer from Duke.
This is me. Well, he's going to be 4 because he's going to be in the highest open slot. This is me. Like I said it earlier, this is Max's first blind ranking. I don't know his tendencies. Getting ACC basketball players, I wasn't 100% certain that he was going to give me the first team preseason All-ACC team, which is, Caleb Wilson wasn't up there, but for me, he was. My vote, he was. Cameron Boozer should be higher than 4, but what are you going to do? It's blind ranking. He's number 4.
All right, you'll probably feel good about the last pick, though. The last one is going to be Juke Harris from Wake Forest, so he's going to slide in at number 5 there, but he's off to a great start this season as well.
I don't want to disrespect Juke Harris because he's a very good player and has a high ceiling and small usage last year. Did very, very.
He's breaking out nicely to start this season.
Very,
for sure.
very well. He's a number 5 on this list, I think, pretty safely. But he's still a very good player. Again, it's just you're up against 4 of the 5 names I had on my preseason All-ACC list, first-team All-ACC list. If I could put Boozer between 1 and 2, bump Williams and Brown down 1, I think that's what I would do. But honestly, the top 3 you could put in any order for me. If you want to put Wilson, Boozer, Williams into a hat and pick them out one by one, and that's the order, I'd be fine with that.
What a time for triangle basketball. This is going to be a very fun season, I think, because all these teams got these great dynamic players, and looks like they've all built up great squads. Obviously, Duke had all 5 of their starters go to the NBA last year, but they've reloaded, looks like,
and
quite
they're playing
easily.
well in the NBA, too.
Yeah, exactly. Con Knippel's number 1 in the rookie ladder in the NBA.com right now, by the way, and I think he should be the rookie of the year, but there's a lot of basketball
Very
left.
early.
Very early.
But Tyrese Proctor has shined at times for the Cavs. Sion James has played well, knocking down shots for Charlotte. Cooper Flagg has maybe underwhelmed based on Cooper Flagg standings or hype.
And being stuck at point guard just because of the injury situation they have going on there. So he's not exactly in his natural position, but he's definitely going to adjust.
He started putting things together. It's and Kaman Malawash is always seen as more of a long-term project. But they'll be fine. Cameron Boozer, part of that reason. I feel dumb having him at 4, but I mean, again,
that's just because I fooled you.
If you put him at 3, and Wilson and Williams are above him, I don't think that's ridiculous. So 1 spot out.
No, I mean, it's not completely unjustifiable. Now, if it was a list based on like NBA prospects, it would be a different story. But we're just talking about which player is kind of better right now in the ACC. So not completely unjustifiable.
Not my best. And Juke Harris is a really good player. Like if you would have given me Juke Harris first, I think I probably would have put him 3 or 4, expecting that. And then I would have been in a whole bunch of trouble. But I would have put him 3 or 4 because I think he's an above-average ACC player. Like I think that I would go, everybody's not going to be worse than this guy or better than this guy. So it's all right. Now I know. Now I'll file this away for next time Max is the blind ranking official, and I'll remember that if he's ranking Carolina Panthers players, Derek Brown's going to be first, and I'm going to go like, all right, number 1, and then it's going to be J.C. Horn and Teterow McMillan and just everyone that's been playing well.
If you think there was a strategy to the order, I don't know what to tell you. I just kind of picked a random order. I listed a bunch of good players in the ACC. It was like, all right, we'll start with Mikael Brown Jr. He had a good game last night.
You don't know how my brain works. I'm going to overthink this for days. Next time you show up, I'm a full scouting report. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Speaking of full scouting report, let's talk Carolina Hurricanes, specifically Hurricanes and Cons.
But to play great defense, you need one thing above all else.
That starts with a W.
Confidence.
Cons and cons. What are you most confident in? What are you most concerned about when it comes to the Carolina Hurricanes? If good news and bad news, which do you want first? You always take the bad news, so we start with the concern. You must not be here on Wednesdays often because this is all new for Max. So I'm very interested. Max is as in tune with the Canes as any of us here at 99.9 The Fan. So I want you to lead off. I want you to surprise us. What are you concerned with for the Canes?
Concerned with the health of Freddie Anderson and with the collision last night with Jordan Stahl. Actually, I had a pretty good perspective. I was down there in that corner in 115 at the Lenovo Center when it happened, and it looked like he jumped up pretty easily. So hopefully, him getting pulled by the spotter and everything, it's just precautionary, and he'll be able to jump back in. But it's an issue that's been persistent over the last couple of years. Is his availability, especially in the playoffs, is crucial. The silver lining is they do have the 2 other options in Bussey and Kochetkov that they feel pretty confident in leaning on if he were to miss some time. But, obviously given his history, never good to see Freddie Anderson go down. So, obviously that's a bit of a concern for me.
We talked about my concern earlier, but it stays. It's the power play. 0 for 5 last night after they had been doing better.
Yeah,
felt like they gave back some of that progress.
I had been gassing them up over the last couple games. It's like, look, they've scored at 3 out of 4 games with the power play, and the one they didn't, he scored like 1 second after it was over. So maybe they're starting to put it together. And then Yeah, 0 for 5 last night.
I think we've all wanted, we've been itching to gas him up. Because I'm not saying, I was bringing up the same stats everybody else was. 28% over the last 4. Yeah, but they're also second worst in the NHL overall. 12.5% on the power play. I think only Ottawa is worse, if I'm remembering that correctly. Even if they've been better recently, they've still shown their floor for stretches. And it's like, if you can be bad for 5 games, that's a playoff series. You know what I mean? And you can't win against really good teams.
And they will. It's inevitably in the playoffs. The power play will go cold for a long streak, and we will talk about it ad nauseum.
That's my concern.
They're 1 for 15 or whatever in the playoffs, and yet they'll still win whatever series in 5 or 6 games, and somehow they'll manage to rise above it. I don't know how they do it always, but
they're obviously good enough to win in the first round with a sketchy power play. We've seen it. Can they win in the Eastern Conference Finals with a sketchy power play? Can they win in
Florida misses the playoffs?
That's the concern, is the power play. And the thing is, this is very much, I always say, I want to be a solutions guy, not just problems guy. I'm 100% just the problems guy here. I think they have the right players on the power play. I think that I think they need to shoot more. I think they need to be more aggressive. I think they need to be more selfish. That's not breaking any news. That's not the most unique opinion in the world. I'm just yelling about a problem and saying that's my concern and moving on. Let's get to confidence. Max, what's your confidence for the Carolina Hurricanes?
I'm confident in Jackson Blake. He was buzzing out there last night. Really, I won't say he was the only one driving play, because there were a couple moments for everybody, but a majority of the good chances I felt were generated by Jackson Blake. He's clearly playing with a ton of confidence right now, and it is awesome to see. He's just slicing through the middle, through the slot, ripping shots, creating chances with his playmaking as well. He's mixing it up there, with the Stankoven fight and everything. It all kind of stemmed because Blake was in there mixing up. I believe was it with Dowd or Farivari that ended up fighting Logan Stankoven?
That's exactly what it was.
Jackson Blake getting involved, looking confident, just making us feel more and more like that contract extension was a great move by Eric Tulsky, and I'm happy that he will be on the team in the long term, and I think the sky's the limit for him. He could be an all-star one day, and is going to be a great top 6 piece for the Canes for a long time.
My confidence is similar. It is Ehlers, Stankoven, Blake as the second line. One of the themes I had for the Canes season was the first month or 2 is information gathering, because they were introducing a good amount of new pieces and trying guys out in new positions and figuring things out. And, I didn't want anything to be panic. I didn't want anything to be locked in. So as excited as I was, and I'm not hiding that I was excited, as I was for Aho, Jarvis, Ehlers, obviously just, wasn't connecting with me in a way that, and connecting with each other in a way that was awesome. Ehlers has dropped to that second line, and they've, when they're on the ice together, you feel something, right? Your heart moves a little bit. Go full Grinch in the holiday season. Your heart grows 3 sizes that day. It's just they get it. I think their varied personalities and varied skill sets mesh well together. And obviously, even Ehlers scoring on the power play, it's the refreshing nature of only playing with Aho and Jarvis on power play. I don't know, that second line seems like something that can be the second line for the next 5 years, which would be awesome. Speaking of that second line, I do want to talk about the fight. So you can go ahead and cut cons and cons. And we have some audio here about it. Logan Stankoven in a fight is, first of all, a bit it's jarring, right? He's what does he list at? 5'8", 170? Is even that 5'8", 165? His height and weight. That doesn't scream hey, this is the guy that's going to step up and protect people when they feel disrespected, right? 5'8", 165 is what Google has him as. Freddie got a little touched up. Blake is in the mix. Logan Stankoven doesn't like the way all of that goes down. He goes and more than holds his own. And you brought it up. Farivari was the guy that he was kind of do-si-doing with. And I have his measurements here as well. 6'2", 215. That's different weight classes, right? Those fights aren't sanctioned in boxing. And Logan Stankoven at least held his own. And because of that, you get respect. And I'll be the first to say, because some of you are probably saying, like, this feels very hypocritical, 100%. Before I started covering a hockey team every single day, when I was a much more casual fan, I was one of those fans that said, I don't get the fighting thing, right? I don't get it. Just like if it's an unwritten rule, write it down and put them in the box. It just seems like you're risking injury to sometimes really important players. I now get it in that it is a weird team building thing. And it is, similar to when Roy Williams or Mike Krzyzewski would throw their jacket and get the technical and turn around to the student section and pump them up. It's not always just raw testosterone and anger. Sometimes there's gamesmanship to it. And Logan Stankoven stepping up and holding his own against Faravari was a message, right? And it's something that's been missing on the Canes. We've had callers, shout out to Micah, shout out to a few others, that have been looking for that for a long time. And it goes back to on the Chatfield hit with Jordan Stahl. Right? If you're not going to have a quote-unquote tough guy on your roster, occasionally your skaters are going to have to be tough guys. I have a couple quotes here. Ryan Henkel, the Hockey News, kind of tweeted them out. Rod Brindamore on Stankoven's fight. It was a tough one because that was the line that was out there. You know, he might be the toughest guy we had out there with those groups, but he's not going to back down. We know that. He's a tough kid. And then he went on to compliment Jackson Blake and Stankoven just for their skating. But that's kind of how it is for the Canes. When the moment calls, whoever's out there, you're going to have to be the one to settle it. More from Henkel. Aho on Stankoven's fight. He showed a lot of heart there, got in there for Blakey, and that's what you need to become a team. That will help us have success later this season. That showed a lot of courage on his part. We already knew that. Nobody is expecting him to fight, but protecting your brother out there is a good sign. I was surprised it was Stankoven's first career fight. I think he said at any level. Like he's never dropped the gloves because he looked like he knew what he was doing. The willingness to do that, I think, will pay dividends as the season goes along. The willingness to do it, I think, will. And it's the team building. It's the giving your body up. It's all of the things that, jumping in front of a puck shot 100 miles an hour does, only it's a bit more epic, right? It's a bit more theatrical. We have some more audio here. Let's hear from Stankoven himself on jumping into the fight.
I don't know. I think things change over time, and I think people change, and I think when you see a teammate down like that and, they try and push us around, and I'm not going to stand for that. So just tried to jump in there, and next gloves are off, and, I thought it was a great fight. So
I like that, complimenting his own fight. I thought it was a great fight.
He was talking about how he loved it. Like he'd never done it before. He was like, "Yeah, I don't know if I'd do it again, but I had fun. It was good."
That'll be a picture of his, because he had a couple choreographed by Sylvester Stallone punches. Some real cock it way back, bring it all the way around town.
It was like a movie scene too at the end where he's got the cut in his face and he wipe his hair back and rubs the blood over his face and stuff. It's like, you look like you've been in a fight before, dude. I don't know what you're saying about this being your first one.
Yeah, he had anger in his eyes. There's a picture that's going to be up in his sports room for the rest of his life, whether he fights again or not. But the reason why I wanted to point it out is Stankoven's a fan favorite. I think the part of it is, the size thing, right? You're always rooting for the underdog, and he's not an underdog, but he kind of appears that way in certain situations when he's wrestling in front of the goal or whatever it is. That second line, Ehlers, every time he makes a play, right? He scores a goal. He sets somebody up. I've never seen someone more surprised that they're good in my life. Nikolai Ehlers scores a goal, and it's like, whoa! Like, his face is just dramatic. He's so joyous, right? Jackson Blake is as much he gives off rink rat as much as anyone I've ever met. I guarantee you there's some cool like puck tricks he can do because his dad played in the league forever, and he just loves hockey, and he goes into the corners and he gets the puck, and Stankoven brings that little edge, that underdog thing. You don't make it this far at his size, being given the opportunity to play center for a contender if you're not absolutely gravel, right? If you're not just the most coarse sandpaper out there. Put those three together, and I don't know, on paper it doesn't seem like it should work, but it does. And until I see something otherwise, I think that group should be feared by the rest of the league, right? It's no longer, all right, the Canes are deep. The Canes have this top line with Aho. They have the Stahl line and this second line, right? It was always, who's the center? It was always, is Svetch there? It was always, could they put Jarvis there and get scoring? The second line was always questions. I don't think it is anymore. I think that might be one of the sturdiest places on the team. And if you don't think so, go talk to Logan Stankoven about it. He'll punch you in the face. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, Tim Donnelly here for Miller Lending. Basically what I'm saying is those three guys, they should be in the market to buy real estate if they haven't done so already. They're not going anywhere. They should live on a street together. It should be called Second Line. Second Line Drive. Sounds pretty good. If they are, they should also, like anybody looking for a house, anybody in the market for a mortgage, although I don't know how super rich people buy houses, the normal folks like us should be getting ready to call Gordon Miller and Miller Lending. And obviously, if you're buying a really big house, you should as well, because no money is no money to everybody. Zero costs and fees is zero costs and fees to everybody. Rich people don't get rich spending money they don't have to spend. And Gordon Miller and Miller Lending are the home of the no-cost loan. Gordon's been doing no closing cost loans since '87. Miller Lending's been doing no closing cost loans since they were established in the Triangle way back in I think it was '96, decades ago, right? No closing costs. No closing costs. You're not surprised when you show up to closing and you need that extra cash, that other money, that other check, no, that other wire, whatever it is. No, when you show up, all you have to be ready is to sign the 75,000 pages you have to sign when you buy a house. Initial here, sign there, initial there, sign there, and be ready to pay your monthly payment, because a no-cost loan is just that, no closing cost. And it opens you up to be flexible and adaptable to take advantage of an ever-changing market. If rates drop, refinance, no costs, no fees to you because it's a no-cost loan. Do it again and again and again as long as rates keep dropping. Keep getting that lower monthly payment. Give them a call. They'll explain more. 919-447-3377. It's Miller Lending, 919-447-3377, or visit them online at millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, NMLS number 250-2146. When we come back, it is our weekly check-in with Mike Glennon, longtime NFL quarterback, decade in the bigs, talking about the confidence issue that we've been discussing all week between the head coach, the play caller, Dave Canales, and Bryce Young, and if Mike's ever experienced something like it. Stick around.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
You also have to wonder if we'll see the warm, fuzzy feelings that we've had all season long between Aaron Rodgers and Mike Tomlin evaporate as well. And Aaron Rodgers has been the consummate professional so far in Pittsburgh. He's done everything that Mike Tomlin has asked. He's become one of the guys. He has not made it about him. But if this continues, will we see things start to flare up in that way in Pittsburgh?
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
It's bow time. Fumble in the food on game day? Rookie move. But you know Bo can make your tailgate a winner, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Because the Carolina Legend has everything you're craving. We're talking crispy, juicy chicken loaded with real Southern flavor, fluffy, scratch-made buttermilk biscuits, and all the fixins to feed your whole crew faster than you can say touchdown. Be the MVP this season and let Bojangles do the cooking. Order your tailgate today. It's bow time.
Planning a tailgate? Then it's bow time. Bojangles has everything you need for the perfect tailgate, no matter how many fans you're trying to feed. There's the original tailgate, the super tailgate, and for a really big crowd, the jumbo tailgate special. And if you like your chicken off the bone, choose the Supreme's tailgate special that includes 12 perfectly seasoned tenderloin fillets. So grab the tickets, get that Bojangles tailgate special, and go. It's Bow Time.
The Black Friday sales event is on at John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington. Right now, take advantage of over $11,000 off a new 2025 Jeep Grand Cherokee or a new 2025 Jeep Grand L. We've got 11 to choose from, but when they're gone, they're gone. So don't wait to get your $11,000 off. Jeep, go anywhere, do anything. See dealer for details. Get off your keister and get to John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington today.
Get ready, Durham. The CIAA Football Championship is coming to Durham County Memorial Stadium Saturday, November 15th. Don't miss your chance to experience the culture and tradition of HBCU football as the two top teams in the conference battle it out for the title of CIAA Football Champion. Visit DurhamNCSports.com for more information and to secure your tickets today. That's DurhamNCSports.com for CIAA Football Championship tickets.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. It is time for our weekly check-in with our resident NC State legend and longtime NFL quarterback Mike Glennon. Mike, we'll start with Bryce Young's had a run, right? Ups and downs and everything else. This week, the conversation has centered on confidence between play caller and quarterback. If I don't know if you watched the entire Panther game. I don't know why you would. It was brutal to watch at times. But Mark Schlereth, three-time Super Bowl winning offensive lineman, said it 100 times as the color commentator. They are daring the Panthers to throw the football. They were blitzing off the edge to force Rico Dowdle, into the tacklers and all of these things. And they could not connect downfield. They didn't try to connect downfield very often. What's the relationship between play caller and quarterback? Can you sense in the NFL, or in the headset even, if they believe in you or not, or if it's wavering at all?
I think you can for sure. You can tell by the way the game is being called. Mm-hmm. Are we a first down throwing it, or are we running it all the time on first down? Are we –
Well, I'll push back on that because they've been running the ball so darn effectively that I get it. Like, if you wanted to establish the run, but there has to be a point where, all right, if we're not trying to throw it downfield now,
yeah, right, yeah.
Like, now it's insulting.
Of course, if you're running the ball well with Rico Dowdle, you know. Look, that's the strength of our offense right now, but you can kind of get the sense at times in critical situations or, going into halftime, like, hey, we're just going to take a knee and take it in the half. Like, yes, that's something. I don't know. You can just get this sense sometimes.
A specific situation from this game. So early in the game, Bryce Young is actually on their touchdown drive, their only touchdown drive, very early in the game. Throws an interception, and it's one of those, like, hits the linebacker in the chest. You're looking, like we've talked about, you're looking for a ref that maybe he was hiding behind or something because – ooh, not a great one. Pass interference call, or not pass interference, sorry, roughing the passer call, drive extends, they score a touchdown. From watching at home, it seemed like that throw shrunk the playbook by 50%.
Yeah.
And you can't win in the NFL with that. A defensive back falls down, Saints get a touchdown, and now it's like, well, game over. There's no way we're coming back from down 7 because we can't trust this guy to throw. It was the lack of ability or willingness to test him downfield was obvious.
Yeah, that stuff can definitely happen. And sometimes, like, when you come to the sideline, the way they interact with you, like, sometimes it's like, give me something. Like, make me feel like, you believe in me. Make me feel like, hey, we're talking about throwing it the next time. Sometimes it's just, like, silent, and you're like, man, this guy, something's going on here where he just wants almost like nothing to do with me. So I unfortunately, I know from experience what that feeling can be like. And then other times where conversation on the sidelines is positive. What do you want? This is what I'm thinking. And I think that's what the great coaches do is even when times are tough, you kind of find ways to make the quarterback feel like you believe even if you don't. So I'm sure that's not the easiest thing to do at times because there's a long history of, good and bad and everything in between. But Dave Canales needs to find a way to make sure Bryce doesn't have that feeling.
Do you ever have we're talking with Mike Glennon, longtime NFL quarterback. By the way, my co-host with Pack Therapy, the podcast, so we may not hit much NC State here on this show, but if you want to talk NC State football, Pack Therapy, the podcast, available everywhere podcasts can be found, including our station's YouTube and our station's app, 99.9 The Fan. Did you ever have the old school corded phone on the sideline, which the coordinator was then up in the booth? I could take it as long as every time I come off the field, it's ringing and you pick it up. I can get yelled at. I can try to explain myself.
Yeah.
It's when you went over, sat down, and the thing never rang that I was like, oh, man, I must be doing something awful.
Never a good feeling when you come back and it's just like silence, and it's almost like you can see the coaches not want to make eye contact with you.
Backup quarterback giving you a towel or something for an interaction.
I would actually always pride myself on that as a backup quarterback. Find a way to say something encouraging or something, because there's not many people that know that feeling of there's 60,000 people that think you're a complete idiot right now.
Yep.
And it's pick me up in some way.
I was big on just get him talking. Just go what'd the safety do on that second down? I don't want cameras on you and have you just sitting there in silence, right? Be talking. I didn't what'd you have for dinner last night? Just make your lips move, because right now we don't want stagnant.
Yeah. But bring it back to Bryce. I mean, I think we talked in the past about being a game manager, and being a game manager is all good and dandy, which I think you can be when you're winning. But it's when you lose and you only have 125 yards and you haven't thrown for over 200 yards since week 2, then it's then it becomes harder to say, okay, you can be a game manager. And losing 17-7 to a not very good Saints team, all eyes are going to be on the quarterback after that.
How and I know that the NFL is a different beast. It's big business, and you're always thinking about your next job. So paint this for me. I think the way it's going, it's pretty obvious. If something doesn't change in a big way, Bryce is going to lose his job, right? And I don't like predicting that, but when you're going multiple weeks without throwing for 150 yards, you're losing games, and it's kind of adding up. That it's a results-based business. Is there any autonomy you can take? If they're not going to call it, hey, T-Mac, let's get going. What are they going to do? Take your job? If we're being real, in 2 months, you're probably going to lose it anyway unless something changes.
Look, I think that is some people's personality. I don't see Bryce Young being that kind of guy. Jameis Winston, he's probably going to do that because he's going to go down swinging. Bryce doesn't necessarily seem to have that personality, and I would say that's something easier said than done.
Oh, 100%.
It's one thing to go out there and just say, kind of F everyone, I'm going to do what I want. He still wants to be the Carolina Panthers franchise quarterback, and he, and
at this point he is.
Right.
Andy Dalton's not taking the
job. I just think the way he plays, I don't think he's going to ever completely take over a game and win it. Now he can. He's shown to do that. But he's not a Josh Allen type physical player. It's just, to be a game manager, I still think is fine. You can't have those boneheaded plays where you throw it right to a guy, though. You have to play an extremely clean, efficient game and not turn over the ball, not have negative plays, and all that. So that he just has to play clean if he's not going to necessarily take over the game and win it.
We're talking with Mike Glennon here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Did you have a team that you owned? A team that you looking on the other side? Because, I have some stats here for Bryce to back it up, but I just wonder if this
whatever
exists.
reason, I played well. I had a lot of losses in my career. I played well against 2 teams, and that was the Falcons and the Steelers. I don't know how many wins I have, not many. 2 of them were against the Steelers. And then the Falcons.
And this was Steelers, this was Steelers, Ben Roethlisberger Steelers. Yeah. These were good Steelers teams.
Yeah, and I always played well against Atlanta.
Because if right now, Bryce Young has 11 wins in his career. He has 11 and 26 as a starter, which isn't great, but he's added a bunch of them this year. 4 of them are against the Falcons, including he had a 5-touchdown day, 3 passing, 2 rushing, overtime win to end the season last year. And earlier this year, 30-0, they got the win. Granted, the Falcons helped in that a bunch, but when maybe your confidence is low, could you just be like, no, this is the team. Like, this is my get-right game right here. I see that stupid bird on their helmet, and let's go.
It's funny that you say that. I don't know if it was the type of defense they played that allowed me to be good against it or what, but when I played for the Bears, I remember the night before the game, offensive coordinator gets in front of the offense and speaks. He had this kind of creative way of, making guys feel good about himself. He's like, I'm going to go through the scouting report, what I think Atlanta is saying against us. And, of course, he wasn't pointing out any of the negatives. He pointed out all the positives. And before that game, I don't know what my numbers were against. He's like, against the Falcons, Mike Glennon's thrown – and it was actually pretty good. And I'm like, all right, that makes me feel pretty good about myself. And I went out and played pretty well the next day. So I think, it wouldn't hurt for Dave Canales to remind Bryce, remind the team that, look, you're 4-0 against these guys, or 4 wins.
4-1, I think.
4-1, okay. 4-1, and probably bring the numbers to show it. And just brings kind of good energy. And it's, so I would definitely do that if I was Dave Canales.
All right, that's Mike Glennon, our resident NFL insight into what it's like to be a quarterback in the league. Again, check out Pack Therapy. We co-hosted All About NC State football ahead of their game against Miami Saturday at 3:30. Another ranked opponent for the Wolfpack. Until next week, Mike, appreciate it.
Yep, thanks for having me, Tim.
That is Mike Glennon. And one more time, Pack Therapy, the podcast. Our YouTube, 99.9 The Fan, has Pack Therapy. Our app, 99.9 The Fan, in the App Store and Google Play Store has Pack Therapy. We would love for you all to check it out. And that is funny. I've talked about a similar deal, right, where he just said going into playing against Atlanta, the offensive coordinator pointed out to everybody his stats against Atlanta because he had played well. I've said bye weeks I would show my quarterback a highlight of them doing everything right and making awesome throws every year. Bye week would be like, let's get our confidence all the way to max level if possible. Quarterback is a confidence position. You want your guy feeling good. And that's good work by Chicago. And I was actually at that Atlanta game, the one that he's talking about, the Chicago hosting Atlanta game. A wide receiver and or a running back dropped what would have been game-winning touchdowns. Should have held on to them both. We don't got to name names, but Mike led the game-winning drive. That's not a cousin being super biased, although it's a little bit. They should have been caught. Both of them would have won the game. Would have outdueled Matt Ryan.
Dude should have caught it.
Two of them. Back-to-back plays. The wide receiver catch was a little more difficult, but he got two hands on it. Running back definitely should have caught it. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Take that with a grain of salt if you want to. I know my truth. The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. We have the starting five coming up next. Don't go anywhere.
Hey, it's Adam Golden. As the Carolina Hurricanes shoot for their 8th consecutive playoff appearance. That's right, 8 in a row. That's not the goal, I should remind you. The goal is being, as Rod Brindamore likes to say, the last team standing. What do they need? Who will get them there? You know where you can find the answers on every episode of the Canes Corner podcast, live on YouTube after games, and wherever you get your podcast. Rate, subscribe, like, share, tell your friends. I am here with Patrick Day of the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. I'm on your website. Gutter helmets right on the front of the website. Do you have a gutter helmet to fit my head? I have a small head.
We have a gutter helmet for every head, Adam. So anyhow, if you give us a call, we'll come out and take a look at your windows, doors, siding, roofing, gutters, and of course we can do the gutter helmet. We have financing programs that are really good. So we have like 12 months with 0 payments for 12 months. You don't have to pay anything. So if you're thinking about home improvements and you're thinking you're saving up for it, just come on and see us and we'll go ahead and get you set up and get your project done, and you can pay in 12 months from now.
I feel like you're speaking directly to me. If it's for the exterior of your home, there is no better place than the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. You can find them online, aluminumcompany.com. Siding, roofing, windows, entry doors, storm doors, and the world-famous gutter helmets. Aluminum Company of North Carolina, 1-800-672-4340.
Hey, it's Amanda here, back again with Coach Pete. Coach, every time I turn on the TV, it's just like doomsday, and I'm scared to invest and all this. What should we do? How should we avoid all of this mess?
You know why they do that? Because you keep watching. If
true.
it bleeds, it leads. They just say in the news business, they never show good news. So the good news for you is there's ways around the bad things, but you need to isolate yourself from all the minutia and all the talk that's out there. So put a plan together. Make sure that plan is bulletproof. bulletproof, and then don't worry about what they say on the news because your plan's not tied to the news anymore. So we need to get our plan away from the bad news, and we do that. We put together income plans that only give you the upside potential of the market, never the downside, and they give you a lifetime income. Amanda, our clients love this. A lifetime income they can never outlive, and their spouse never outlives. If you want your own income plan, folks, that'll put you in control of retirement, call right now.
That's all good news, Coach. 919-794-7900. 919-794-7900. Or text Amanda to 600-700.
Amanda Daughtry is a paid spokesperson. Investment advisory services offered by Capital Financial Advisory Group, a North Carolina registered investment advisor.
Ready for your next ride? Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac GMC in Sanford has the newer used car you've been dreaming of. Plus state-of-the-art service and collision centers. Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac GMC. 3 great brands, 1 trusted name. Visit today or at wilkinsoncars.com.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, Injury Lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
Broadcasting live from the Lenovo Studios. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Kat Campbell. Mostly clear skies are in the forecast tonight, and you'll want to grab a jacket this evening. Overnight, temperatures drop near 40 degrees for the low. Thursday afternoon, we're in the mid-60s, though, despite partly cloudy skies. By Friday, it's warmer, upper 60s with sunshine.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 5 o'clock check of your money at the closing bell. Dow Jones up 326 points to 48,254.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting 5.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. What's going on, everybody? It's 5 o'clock or a few minutes after, which means it is time for the starting 5. And as always, we start with number 5.
Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
It means more.
It does mean more. It always means more. It's time for the CFP Rankings. The second edition was revealed yesterday. And, well, it wasn't great for the ACC, although it wasn't as bad as it could be for the ACC. The top, not much change, right? Top 4 of the top 4, Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M, Alabama. To get to an ACC team, you have to go all the way down to 15th, Miami. Little scheduling quirk here. Miami is the highest CFP-ranked ACC team at 15th. They are 7th in the ACC conference standings. So riddle me that. That just shows the parity within the conference of the ACC. Georgia Tech 16th, Virginia 19th, Louisville 20th, Pitt 22nd. If you would have told me that they were going to have 5 teams in the top 22, that was the only information, I would be like, oh, that's pretty good. Probably 2 or 3 of them in the top 12, right? 1 or 2 of them in the top 12. None of them in the top 14. They're very condensed between 15 and 22. But that's where it stands. And if you listen to, as we're about to play for you right here, Heather Dinich of ESPN, not great for the ACC.
What we saw tonight was one group of 5 team, gentlemen. South Florida, right? Mm-hmm. If JMU had appeared tonight, I would say, okay, the possibility is a little bit more. But I promise you, in that selection committee meeting room, JMU ranked 115th in strength of schedule with 1 loss to Louisville that they dropped. Impacts that conversation. And last year you had a Boise State team that was taking up one of those top 12 spots, a really good G5 team. We're not seeing that this year. We're seeing a South Florida just appear in the ranking. And so when you see Miami there, pump the brakes on Miami too. They have a 6% chance of reaching the ACC championship game.
There's going to be some running around the skies falling actions going on for a little bit. We'll talk about that. Like the true doomsday scenarios for the ACC. I think one of the issues is that the ACC truly is a league where anybody can beat anybody on any given day. If you guaranteed me that one of these one-loss teams was going to win their way out, which is, I think, by this point in the season, what you're expecting in a conference, right? There's teams that are really good and they're clicking and they're healthy and it's looking good. I don't really know if that's happening, right? Georgia Tech, they just gave up 1 billion trillion points to NC State. And if that is more of what they are moving forward, they'll drop another and then kind of chaos ensues. You know what, Max, you're an old historian of the ACC, so you'll appreciate this joke. It used to be just the Coastal Division had chaos, right? For the ACC, it was Coastal chaos. It turns out if you get rid of divisions, the Coastal spreads. You don't dilute it. The Coastal chaos just hits the entire ACC.
Well, because now there's 2 coasts in the ACC after the Coastal was dissolved. So now the chaos is just all-encompassing because it's the entire nation.
2 times the coast, 2 times the chaos is what you're saying. That Atlantic had nothing to do with it. We'll go through some of the more crazier scenarios later on in the show. We're going to do that about 5:45. In the meantime, we are going to move on. So college football playoff rankings take a back seat because it's time for number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, all together.
Tight formation, 2 receivers right, 1 to the left. Horn again in motion. Young to snap, hands to Dowdle, finds a hole, right side. Rico in for 6. Run, Rico, run. He's been the best running back in the NFL the last 5 weeks, and he caps the Panthers' opening drive with a 5-yard touchdown run.
Update on Panthers practice from today. Players that did not practice due to injuries or on the injury report did not practice. Lathan Ransom, the rookie safety, with a hand injury. Rico Dowdle, who you just heard, one of the best running backs in the league this season. He was out with a quad. And Trevin Wallace, the young linebacker, did not practice with a shoulder. Derek Brown was limited with a knee. Dave Canales, after practice, did clarify some of those reports. Derek Brown's knee issue, not considered serious and is not related to last year's surgery, which is great news. He's wildly important, and I believe Canales said he's expected to practice tomorrow. Rico Dowdle also should practice tomorrow. They're going to be smart with him, manage his workload and the tread on his tires, because running backs, especially running backs treated like true workhorses like Rico has been, they tend to get tired. Lathan Ransom had hand surgery yesterday, but still could possibly play versus Atlanta, so obviously not the most intense surgery out there. We'll see. He's a depth player at this point, doesn't play, a majority of the snaps. And then Trevin Wallace, he is week to week with the shoulder injury, which means I believe Claudin Charles would be the next man up playing a off-ball linebacker for the Panthers.
Yeah, and Trevin Wallace, Dave Canales to confirm he will miss the game this upcoming Sunday against Atlanta.
So, Claudin Charles, next man up. Trevin Wallace and Christian Roseboom, since they switched who's calling the plays, they started with Roseboom, the green dot, the guy with the radio in his helmet relaying the plays. They switched to Wallace doing that a couple games into the year. Since then, they've been much better. Wallace does have a little bit of speed, a little bit of coverage ability, and Charles will have to make that up. Is what it is. At this point, it's similar to the NHL, right? It's 100% injury, right? Everybody is hurt in some way. It's just a matter of, can you play through it? Can you be effective through it? When you're playing a physical sport, at this point, you're going to have guys that are missing a Wednesday practice. Certain teams have gotten hit harder than others, but the Panthers have certainly taken their hits. I believe that's it for Panthers injury reports from practice, so other than that, they're doing all right. That's number 4. Let's get to number 3.
Evans goes right around his defender. How about just re-rack it, baby? Another alley-oop to Wilson for the flush.
Duke men's basketball beat Army at Army. Did I have the order of that wrong? Were we supposed to do UNC? That was UNC highlight, wasn't it?
It's UNC and Duke. I didn't know which direction you were going to go with it.
You're right. We are doing both. Duke beat Army 114-59. Atmosphere was cool. We talked about that earlier. It was at Army. There were ceremonies. The cadets lived up to everything. As far as the game goes, I think the lesson was they won by a ton, right? They settled for a boatload of threes earlier in the game. They were knocking down the threes for the most part. Evans knocked down a bunch. Dame Sarr had a little bit of a breakout, which we haven't seen as of yet. So that's good to see for Duke. So it's not like a huge thing, but Army had no height. And I just, maybe I'm old school. You know, you should be yelling mouse in the house, and you should be going down into the post, and you should be bullying them. There's nothing more high percentage than a dunk, right? So go make that happen, get to the free throw line, all those sort of things. If you're knocking down the threes, I'll be accused of being, too nitpicky, and maybe I am, but live by the three, die by the three is a saying for a reason. If even in games where you have a massive physical advantage, you're still choosing to live by the three, die by the three. Even if you live well, you thrive by the three in that game. I'm always going to look around and go, I would have rather you gotten down into the post a bit more. With that being said, they won by $1 billion and escaped, if you will. So I won't harp on it too much. Just know that if they pull up for a bunch of threes early in the shot clock in an ACC game and they're not falling, then I will harp on it quite a bit. The other side of the college basketball reactions from last night, UNC beat Radford 89-74. This one is I almost think, I always go back to, it's like a lesson you learn in youth sports. It's why I'm such a proponent of youth sports for everyone, whether your dream is to like play college and pro, or your dream is to just be outside twice a week in Little League. What you learn is there are things out of your control, right? When you're playing player pitch, like kid pitch baseball, and you're 9 years old, and the pitcher can't find the strike zone, but the ump is calling everything a strike anyway, you learn, all right, I can sit here and complain about it, or I can swing at this pitch 3 feet over my head and see if I can't get on base, right? I can't control that, so let me control what I can control. UNC had a bit of that against Radford. I don't know whether they were good calls. I'm not going to go back and litigate them all because it would take too long. The refs liked the sound of their whistle in the UNC Radford game, which, by the way, UNC won 89-74. UNC also took 49 free throws. The most, according to 247 Sports, by a Tar Heel team in 21 years. 49 free throws. And you may say, well, okay, how much did Radford? They took 31. 31 is a ton of free throws. And they took 18 less than their opponent. They combined for 80 free throws. Now, why am I screaming this and saying this is some kind of lesson for UNC, right? If you take 18 more free throws than the other team, it's not a lesson, that's a gift. The lesson is, if that's how the refs are going to call it, that's how the game has to be played. And you're not going to catch a rhythm. You're not going to get up and down the floor 4 times without a whistle, right? You're not going to be able to pick up full court, get a steal, go the distance, finish, right? Because if you go up for a shot, you're probably going to be going to the free throw line. If you go for a steal, you're probably going to be sending them to the one-on-one line. Like, it was just a stop, start, herky-jerky, helter-skelter game. And when that happens, you can't control it. You just got to find a way to thrive in it and get the win and get out of there. Take a shower after the game, wash it off, flush it, and move on. And that's what they did. They got the win. Caleb Wilson didn't score his usual 20 piece, but he had his first double-double of his career. Dennis Parker Jr., formerly of NC State, now on Radford, scored 23 points. So, he gets to text his old buddies and say, I got your rival for you, something like that. But it's still a good win for the Tar Heels, and they get to move on knowing that in a weird situation, they got some experience on how to react. 49 free throws. 49.
It's quite a few.
I mean, if you figure, let me do some quick math here. 49, if you figure each one takes, 7 seconds? Because it's a 10-second shot clock. When lining up, we'll call each one 12 seconds. That's 588 seconds. Divide that by 60. About 10 minutes of just sitting and watching people take free throws. And with time in between, you're probably looking at 20 or 25 minutes.
Yeah, it's got to be way longer than that.
Not including lining up, not including the time where the guy's laying on the ground yelling, and what? And the ref has to go over and make the call. It probably 40, 45 minutes of just free throw operation just for the Tar Heels. That's not including the 31 on the other side. Whew. Not the most fun game to watch. That is number 3. Let's get to number 2.
Just the two of us. The reckoning is here. The pack is back, and we are not to be messed with. No doubt.
Speaking of college basketball, UNC Greensboro at NC State tonight, men's basketball. I said this earlier, and I'm going to say it again just for, obviously many of you don't listen to the entire show. If you do, you're the real MVP. I'm setting expectations really high for NC State. And that's not because I've set expectations really high for NC State. It's because NC State has set expectations really high for NC State. Will Wade has not shied away from growing expectations. From his introductory press conference. We're not rebuilding. We're going to be good. We're going to win, and we're going to win big, and it's going to be right away. They're going to be top 4 in the ACC this year. They're going to be an NCAA tournament team this year. They're going to play meaningful basketball this year. I want to see a juggernaut. I want to see the best team money can buy. I want to see Darian Williams, one of the top 3 transfers on the entire market. I want to see these guys you brought from McNeese State that went on the Cinderella run. I want to see them hands in the passing lane, defense, getting out and running. Not because that's what I think this team should be doing, although I do think they're a very good, very talented team. It's because that's what we've been promised. And you didn't have to do that. New coaches, they get a leash. You know what I mean? They get a long leash. All right, it's the first year. They're still building. They got to get their guys. They're implementing culture. Will Wade said, thank you, but no thank you. I don't need any of that. So because of that, I'm almost going to be harder on them. I'm going to be expecting more from them. They wrote a check. Now they got to go cash it. I want to see the flashed potential of a top 4 team in the ACC. Which, by the way, top 4 right now, you're talking Duke, you're talking Louisville, you're talking UNC, you're talking some pretty darn good teams. If you want to be in that mix as the 4th team, tall task, but I think you can do it. I think you have the talent. I don't even think you have to be 4th in that group. I think you could be 2nd or 3rd. But we got to start seeing the flash. And in nights like tonight, which it's a Wednesday, right? You're not going up against major football. You're not going up against Thursday night football. You're not going up against Monday night football. There's only 3 ACC games tonight. One is, I believe, at Virginia Tech. One is at Stanford. And the Stanford one, I assume, is late. So, if you're an ACC basketball junkie, you're going to check out NC State tonight on ACC Network, as long as you don't have YouTube TV. And with that, it's an opportunity. Show us why the hype is warranted. Will Wade and crew. That's number 2. Let's get to number 1. The Canes lost last night, 4-1 to Washington. Anytime they play Washington, you want to win. But it was a tall task, and it was just a long slog. Can you get 2 minutes of gold ready for us, Max? We have for the nuts and bolts for the breakdown before we get to some of our opinions on it. Adam Gold, the host of the Adam Gold Show, breaks down last night's 4-1 loss to the Caps in something we call 2 minutes of gold.
Hey, it's Adam Gold here, and I've got 2 minutes for 2 players who had 2 very bad games as the Hurricanes didn't get 2 points, didn't get any points in a 4-1 loss to the Washington Capitals. And it's all brought to us by Parkway Sleep Health Centers, parkwaysleep.com. What's the old song say? Yeah, Mama said there would be days like this, and the Hurricanes had 2 players have those kind of days. Keandre Miller has been great for the Hurricanes, but in this game, not so much. Actually, Carolina got off to a great start. Then Miller takes a penalty, momentum gone, and ultimately it leads to the first goal, in which he's on the ice, kind of ignoring the player who ultimately scored the goal, Brandon Duhaime. But then Carolina got a power play, and man, this had to be a goal.
Taylor Sharp out in front, and a huge save on Jarvis by Thompson. You can't draw it up any better, and that is Logan Thompson's best save by far of this first period.
We'll give Seth Jarvis some grace. He's been great. And Nick Ehlers, by the way, playing at a very high level. But it wasn't a goal, and when we got to the second period and Sebastian Aho, who had a tough night, had a chance to get the puck deep, he didn't.
Now here comes a chance for Washington. Ovechkin feeds it up for Strome, and he scores. Dylan Strome's 5th of the year as he goes top corner, and it's 2-0 Washington.
Yeah, that Dylan Strome goal made it 2-0, but still the Hurricanes were in it because Jackson Blake and Ehlers combined for the goal that made it 2-1, and they looked really good in the second period. And it just felt like Carolina was going to take this game by the throat in the third. Then Miller takes another penalty. Sebastian Aho actually wins a faceoff, and then Mike Riley can't get the puck out of this.
Another shot in the slot. Second opportunity, they score. Jacob Chychrun gets to the front of the net, and a power play goal for Washington. It's a 3-1 lead for the Caps.
Jacob Chychrun, 3-1. The only thing that was worth watching the rest of the way was Alexander Ovechkin's 150-foot empty net goal. Likely the last time we see him at Lenovo Center. Hats off to you. Grade 8. What a career. 901 goals, 53 of them against the Hurricanes, 33 of them at Lenovo Center. No visiting player has ever scored more in that building. Parkway Sleep Health Center. Sound sleep, sound health, sound off for one of the greatest who has ever done it, and a night to forget.
Thank you very much to Adam Gold for 2 minutes of gold, all about the Canes' loss last night. Their next game Friday, it's Vancouver, I believe, at home. So they have an extra day's rest to get back up to speed, perhaps to get some people healthy. We'll see. Gostisbehere did play, and he finished the game. So that's good news right there. And he got a point on the only goal of the game. Had the secondary assist ahead to, I believe it was Blake, and then Ehlers put it away. So it's a good return for Gostisbehere.
It's good to see him back. He had a couple moments where you could tell there's a little rust there. A couple bobbled pucks by the blue line, especially on the power play. But
you could call it rust, but then what do you call it when all the guys that have been playing extra minutes recently were bobbling the puck yesterday?
I don't know. It was a rough one for
everybody. He wasn't the only one. If he actually, that would be very understandable and very okay moving forward, because if Gostisbehere was the only one bobbling it would be like, it's very obviously rust. You could just write that off.
He had an assist and a +1 in his return. Those
+1 in a 4-1 loss.
Yeah, a better game than most of the other skaters could have. So
it was a rough one. It was a game that maybe they were due for, but it just, things didn't break their way. Everything, you used the term effortful earlier, Max, and I like that one. Everything was effortful. Nothing came easy. Every time they advanced it into the offensive zone, it felt like they had to, knock someone off the puck, and the pass wasn't smooth, and they bobbled it, and then they just chunked it in, and then there was a battle in the corner.
Shot off the glass instead of being on net.
Yep, or the opposite. If they cleared it from the opposite end, it was like, oh, thank goodness. Never mind, it's back in. It was a effortful, a laborious game for the Carolina Hurricanes. If you're going to fight as hard as they were fighting, like through the slog, like they were playing in muck and mud, you would have liked to have come away with a more competitive finish. If you're going to have Logan Stankoven getting his first career fight, you would have liked to have come away with at least a more competitive finish, give yourself more of a chance at the end. But I think that is truly like a flush it game. I think you watch the film this morning. You don't even wait till the afternoon. You get it on the iPad, you watch it this morning, whatever clips the coaches wanted you to see, and you flush the heck out of it, go into Friday as clean slate as you can. Because prior to that, a lot of things were going right. All right. Prior to that, particularly in the mental fortitude category, a lot of things were going right the previous couple games. And you want to pick that up for another back-to-back Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, I don't know anything about this scenario, but something within me just feels like I feel like we're about to get a Jacob Slavin update soon. Like I feel like
he was in the booth. He was in the booth for quite some time. At times I was trying to get kids to go to sleep and stuff, so I was watching on mute. But he was there. I saw his face. Cool mustache.
Nice. I saw him milling around there and in the street clothes, and again, I'm hoping soon we'll hop on Twitter one day in the next couple weeks and see Walt Ruff say Jacob Slavin returned to practice today in a full contact sweater, and then everybody will rejoice and we'll all just have a jolly good time, and then maybe they'll not lose again.
Not going to lose ever again. That's what I've been talking about as far as like facing adversity. As long as you can survive it, makes you stronger. If the blue line with Nystrom and Riley playing huge minutes, like if those guys can make good, and then you add Jacob Slavin, that's how a campfire turns to a bonfire, right? That's how it becomes a real big deal. But I don't even know what to do when we discuss Jacob Slavin, right? It's just one of those, we don't get a lot of information in hockey, and you just fingers crossed, hope and move forward. But it seemed like when the injury first happened, it was being treated as like, I'll be back next week, or I'll be back after the road trip, and it's just not. So it's almost, you don't want to get your hopes up, and you don't want to set yourself up for disappointment. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I do want to play this clip from Rod. We didn't play it earlier. Just about kind of how he saw last night's game and how the Canes kind of beat themselves with mistakes.
A lot of mistakes, for sure. But you have to understand, coming in, we knew that the kind of game it was going to be, and we didn't play it like that. It was like, we talked about it, but it was like, yeah, okay. And then just what you said, you can't beat yourself, and especially against a good team. I give them credit because their game was on, and they did what they had to do, especially at the start of the game. You could tell their mindset was, and we were just not sharp.
Beat yourself with mistakes. Yep. Friday's another one. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We Need Numbers game contestants. The prize for today, train tickets, and that's the band Train. I had to remind people yesterday. Train with Bare Naked Ladies and Matt Nathanson at Coastal Credit Union Music Park on July 16th. As we said yesterday, Train with Bare Naked Ladies. It's different if you don't know they're both bands. So if you want tickets to see the music concert, Train with Bare Naked Ladies and Matt Nathanson at Coastal Credit Union Music Park on July 16th. Call in right now. We need 2 contestants to play the numbers game. 919-860-5326. That's 919-860-5326 for your chance to compete in the numbers game and maybe win those concert tickets. Call in now. Numbers game next.
Hey folks, Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Loan Pronto. Are you maxed out on credit cards? Maybe you're struggling with that high interest debt. You can pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. They paid off debt, renovated their kitchen, and cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That's a massive turnaround. Here's the thing. Your home equity, it's yours. Use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy, low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Call now to start the conversation. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760. Get debt relief now. loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 1661781 on approved credit. NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
You also have to wonder if we'll see the warm, fuzzy feelings that we've had all season long between Aaron Rodgers and Mike Tomlin evaporate as well. And Aaron Rodgers has been the consummate professional so far in Pittsburgh. He's done everything that Mike Tomlin has asked. He's become one of the guys. He has not made it about him. But if this continues, will we see things start to flare up in that way in Pittsburgh?
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Waking up, getting ready, sitting in traffic. Let's face it, getting to work in the morning is a lot of work. But when you get a great deal on your favorite McDonald's coffee, becoming a morning person is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Now, get any size refreshingly cold iced coffee for $1, a delicious mocha for $2, and a frappe for $3. Available only during breakfast hours. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Hey, everybody. Paul Ihander from 99.9 The Fan for FanDuel. FanDuel is the #1 sports book for same-game parlays.
From points to rebounds to threes and assists, FanDuel is the best place to combine your favorite picks into a same-game parlay or track every stat live all in one easy-to-use app. Right now, it's the perfect time to join. New customers get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Bet on the players you love the way you want. Head on over to FanDuel.com/Paul and sign up today. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. 21 plus and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time to play the numbers game. The prize, tickets to see the band Train, as well as Bare Naked Ladies and Matt Nathanson, Coastal Credit Union Music Park on July 16th. The contestants for today, Frank and Clayton, Omar and Raleigh. As always, we're going to bring each of them onto the show, ask them the same question. Our producer for today, it is Nic Scourton. He'll be the judge, pick his favorite answer, and that person will get to go first, and we'll go from there. We'll start with Frank and Clayton. Frank, can you hear me?
I sure can.
The question is, normally when Max is producing, he makes me feel really old because he's very young, and there's some reference that I make that he doesn't get or something like that. So we're going to play off of him being very young. And also I saw today that a trailer for the next Toy Story movie came out today, which I believe Andy in Toy Story is my age. Like, as he grew up, we were, like, going to college at the same time and all that. So what's the greatest kids movie of all time? That's the question we're asking.
Oh, the greatest kids movie of all time. Oh, my goodness. Wow. Got me on this one.
There's no wrong
I'm a lot
answer.
older. I would say The Wizard of Oz.
Oh, very solid. Were you sandbagging there? Oh, you got me, and then you pulled a great.
Well, I don't know if that was, it could be for adults too, obviously. But
the best kids movies
that
are
scared the heck out of me.
The best kids movies are definitely like 30% for adults because parents have to watch those bad boys too. As I'm now a parent, I can tell you there are ones that are much better than others. So Frank and Clayton locked in with Wizard of Oz. We'll now go to Omar and Raleigh. Omar, are you there? And can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. Hopefully you heard all that explanation. It's going to be the same question to you. What is the greatest kids movie of all time?
So usually I say Toy Story, but I'm going to change it up. One of my favorites was The Iron Giant. That one definitely touched my soul when I watched it for the first time when I was a kid.
All right. It's a deeper pull. Toy Story, very mainstream. Iron Giant, I doubt, is as popular. Omar, you are locked in with Iron Giant. Max, the options for you are Wizard of Oz or Iron Giant.
Both classics. He should have.
And you can give us your correct answer if you want.
Omar should have stuck with Toy Story. I was Buzz Lightyear one year when I was a kid for Halloween. So I'm going to go with Frank for Wizard of Oz because it's such a classic. I would probably lean. There's a lot of options. One that really I liked a lot as a kid was Cars. I'm a big fan of Cars. I think the music in that movie is really good too. They got the Life is a Highways in there. That was always good. Cars is classic. The sequels were not as good, but the original was very good. So my answer is Cars, but for this exercise, we're gonna go with Frank with the Wizard of Oz.
I watched Cars, all three of them, for the first time recently with my almost 5-year-old. The second one is wild.
It's just a random storyline. I don't know how they ended up there.
The first one is I'm a really good race car. I'm a little conceited. Have to learn that humility lesson. The second one is there's an evil conglomerate trying to explode cars all over the country and world. And then the third one is I want to reclaim my racing titles and go win again. It's like, where did that second one come from? Either way, who was the winner? Which
Frank.
Okay.
Frank with Wizard of Oz.
Frank and Clayton gets to go first. We won't talk about movies too much more. Omar, don't worry. You'll have your chance. Just have to sit on hold. Frank, are you ready to pick a category?
I sure am.
All right. The categories are NFL mid-November birthdays, NFL players that were Josh Dobbs' teammates at some point or another, NBA players that are all Europeans, or NHL Hurricanes throughout history.
I'll do the Canes throughout history.
All right. I will give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. There will be 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it. I will say the team in this category, even though we know it, just to keep it fair timing-wise with the other categories. Do you have any questions before we get started?
Oh, let's go.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Seth Jarvis, Carolina Hurricanes.
24.
Correct. Bradley Nadeau, Carolina Hurricanes.
62.
Incorrect. Justin Peters, Carolina Hurricanes.
35.
Correct. Joey Keane, Carolina Hurricanes.
Oh, pass.
Bruno St. Jacques, Carolina Hurricanes.
25.
Correct. Bradley Nadeau, Carolina Hurricanes.
63.
Incorrect. Joey Keane, Carolina Hurricanes.
27.
Incorrect. Bradley Nadeau, Carolina Hurricanes.
33.
Incorrect. Joey Keane. 3. You got 3. That's a solid number. Good showing. Nadeau, one of the young guys, 29 is what we were looking for. And Keane, we were looking for 44. We also, for Justin Peters, for those of you playing at home, we would have accepted 35 or 60. He wore both during his Canes time. But like I said, 3 is the number to beat. Solid showing. Stay on the line. We'll see if it holds up. And that brings us to Omar and Raleigh. Omar, are you ready to pick a category?
Yes, sir.
All right. The categories remaining for you to choose from are NFL players with mid-November birthdays, NFL players that were Josh Dobbs' teammates at one time or another, or NBA All-European players.
Let's go with November birthdays.
All right. I will give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it. You need at least 4 for the victory. Any questions before we get started?
No, sir. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Caleb Williams, Chicago Bears.
10.
Incorrect. Reggie Wayne, Indianapolis Colts.
32.
Incorrect. Caleb Williams, Chicago Bears.
11.
Say it again.
11.
Incorrect. Reggie Wayne, Indianapolis Colts.
Pass.
Minkah Fitzpatrick, Pittsburgh Steelers.
36.
Incorrect. Caleb Williams, Chicago Bears.
6.
Incorrect. Reggie Wayne, Indianapolis Colts.
43.
Incorrect. Minkah Fitzpatrick, Pittsburgh Steelers.
27.
Incorrect. I was trying to go as quick as you can. I didn't want you to get shut out, but unfortunately that's an offer. Caleb Williams, 18 is what we were looking for. Reggie Wayne, 87, and Minkah Fitzpatrick, 39. Like I said, it's an offer, but hopefully you had some fun.
Yes, sir, I did. I appreciate it.
All right. And that means the winner is Frank and Clayton. Frank, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
You have some tickets coming your way to see Train, Bare Naked Ladies, and Matt Nathanson. All you have to do is stay on the line and let Max grab the information he needs.
Will do. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you as well. And congratulations one more time. For those of you that want more information on the concert, again, it is Train with Bare Naked Ladies, Matt Nathanson, and they are coming to Coastal Credit Union Music Park on July 16th. It's a nice little summer show there. And there's a lot of good options for kids' movie. I don't know where I would have gone with it. Toy Story would have been up there, but it's because that was in the intro. I think I would have avoided that too. Maybe Lion King. Lion King, anybody out there? The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, Tim Donnelly here for Maynard Service Company. Talk about kids' movies, talking about family, talk about getting everybody together. When everybody's together, you want to be able to trust your house to hold up to the rigors of company, right? The extra flushes that come with getting the whole family together for the holidays, or getting the whole family together for a movie night. You want to make sure your electrical holds up. Can you imagine? Get all the cousins, the grandkids, you get them together, you get the popcorn, you get them all on the couch, you have them set up on the floor, you'd go to turn on no electricity. Or how about this? It's 29 degrees outside. It's nighttime, movie night, and the heater goes out. Right? These are horror stories. But Maynard Service Company, talking about movies, they'd be the hero that comes to save the day. They're super highly trained technicians that are trained on every different kind of apparatus. And what I mean by that is the technology in the last 20, 30 years of heating and cooling systems, of water heaters, of really everything that goes on in your house, it's gotten way more advanced, which means it takes different skill sets to work on the ones from 20 years ago versus the ones today. And heck, some of us might not even know when our heating and cooling was installed. Maynard Service Company can show up and work on it all. They have every different kind of piece of equipment knowledge, and that allows them to work quickly, get everything back up, and get you back to the movie night. Mainer Service Company, the number to call for heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical work is 919-361-0993. That's 919-361-0993, or visit them online at MainerServices.com. That's MAYNOR Services.com. When we come back, the CFP, the College Football Playoff Rankings, came out yesterday, the latest edition. What does it say for the ACC? Stick around.
Move your sports day forward.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, Bryce, shame on me. It'll take a Herculean effort to get Panthers fans to believe you're the guy that can help them go next level. When you can't run and that's your team identity, you gotta pass. When you can't pass, what are you? No late season stat padding is gonna change opinions a second time.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Here's Brandon with Parkway Sleep Centers.
Tired of waiting for a sleep treatment? At other sleep centers, it can take 6 to 8 months just to get an appointment and cost you thousands more. Not Parkway Sleep Health Centers. We schedule you within weeks and we'll save you money too. We have over 20 years of experience serving the Triangle. Let our expert team help you sleep better sooner.
End your sleep problems. Live your best life. Experience the Parkway Sleep difference. Visit parkwaysleep.com and start your journey to better sleep today. Parkway Sleep Health Centers. Sound sleep, sound health.
Oh, hey, welcome to gift wrapping. Whoa, Zoe Saldana.
Hey, can you wrap these, please?
Wow, iPhone 17s. You splurged.
At T-Mobile, you can get 4 iPhone 17s on them. It's the perfect gift for everyone.
I'm the worst. I only got my mom a robe.
Well, it's better than socks.
So I have to trade in my old phone, right?
No, at T-Mobile, there's no trade-ins needed when you switch. Keep your old phone or give it as a gift.
Incredible.
In fact, wrap up my old phone, too, for my Aunt Rosa. Forget that. Aunt Liz will be jealous.
Sounds like my family. Drama.
Oh, I got it. I'll give it to my abuela. I'll take reindeer paper with... Hey, where are you going?
To T-Mobile. Thanks, Zoe.
The holidays are better at T-Mobile. Get 4 iPhone 17s on us. No trade-in needed when you switch. Plus 4 lines for just $25 a line.
With 24 monthly bill credits and 4 eligible port-ins on Essentials for well-qualified customers. Auto-pay plus taxes, fees, and $35 device connection charge. Credits end in balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us. Finance agreement 256 gigabytes, $830 required. Visit T-Mobile.com.
Is going to your local bar the worst part of your day? The bartender ignores you, mediocre food, warm beer? Then why go there? Take 5 minutes and drop in at Sharky's, where they'll give you a free evaluation, and you can learn about all the bars that you shouldn't go to. Sharky's has helped thousands find the right bar to hang at. What are you waiting for? Sharky's evaluation could be the cure to the worst part of your day. Change your bar, change your life. Sharky's, 5800 Durley Road by the Shell Station.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Trying to tell us something, Max? You a little sad in there?
No.
Okay. Just the song. It's not a major chord, you know what I mean? It's minor chords there. It's a little down. Anyway, The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. You could be telling us that maybe you're a little bummed that the ACC had no teams in the top 14 of the CFP rankings. Are you that into the ACC?
I mean, I'm a little into the ACC, but I can't say I'm really that surprised.
Well, surprised and disappointed are two different things. For those of you that don't follow David Hale on Twitter, David Hale's an ESPN reporter, covers the ACC. He's doing a lot of blind resumes. He's doing a lot of Team A, this is their record, this is their strength of record, this is their wins over top 25 opponents. Which team do you think should be ranked higher? And almost exclusively, you say, like, I would rather pick that team. And that team is, say, Miami, and the team that you pick them over is Notre Dame, but Notre Dame is 9th and Miami is 15th. And if you just flipped those two, the ACC has a completely different reputation. And he's done a few of them. Last week there was a lot of Louisville blind resumes. Then they went ahead and lost, which,
Yeah, those have been made largely irrelevant this week.
That hurts, but they are still 20th in the CFP rankings. So the ACC, if you're wondering where everybody stands, Miami's the highest ranked team at 15th, Georgia Tech 16th, Virginia 19th, Louisville 20th, and Pitt 22nd. All of them with 2 losses or less. Which sets them up to continue to rise if they keep winning. The issue is just about every time we've believed in an ACC team, they've pulled the rug out from under us. So, I don't know, if you're superstitious, don't pick the one you actually want to cheer on this week. Let's look at Heather Dinich. Heather Dinich, ESPN reporter, she says there's evidence of the eye test all over this week's ranking, and that right there is a cause for concern for the ACC. I'll explain why after you hear it from Heather Dinich herself.
You're going to start with Indiana and Texas A&M. I guarantee you people in that room cared about Fernando Mendoza and how he willed Indiana to that win at Penn State, realizing it's a 3-6 Penn State team. Indiana's defense, Indiana's overall efficiency, number 3 in the country. How they're winning matters. How teams are losing matters. When you look at BYU dropping all the way to 12, it's because they had 67 yards rushing, 3 of 14 on third downs, 3 turnovers. They played so poorly, they played themselves out of the playoff. And Texas Tech played its way into range of getting one of those first-round byes. And what else that means for Texas Tech is the possibility, if it were to lose in the Big 12 championship game, because they're that high right now, that indicates they might have a little bit of wiggle room as the Big 12 runner-up.
So everything she said there is accurate, right? And Texas Tech did absolutely dirty the 8th best team in the country in BYU going into the week. So, that does seem like a win that should vault you up a bit. But the issue I have with the eye test, and I have a love-hate relationship with the eye test. The issue I have with the eye test is you can't argue it, right? There's nothing to point to say that's not true, because it's an opinion. And that right in and of itself lends itself to bias. It lends itself to agendas. It lends itself to conspiracy theory. It lends itself to everything. I was not always a fan of the BCS, but the BCS was numbers and equations, right? It was plugging it in and kicking it out. You can't argue that. It is what it is. You can say it's not a good equation, but you can't argue that the inputs lead to the output. As soon as you start getting to eye test, you get into what do you value, right? You get into, we have more big wins. Yes. We have worse or less bad losses. Okay. But the eye test is what you're losing. And it's like, oh, come on.
The thing about the CFP rankings, what didn't make sense to me, I guess this kind of started with AP, and then Heather didn't reference specifically Texas Tech in that clip. Mm-hmm. So they went and lost at Arizona State, who was an unranked team who now has 3 losses, and they didn't slip at all. Meanwhile, if Georgia Tech goes on the road to a team with 3 or 4 losses in NC State and loses, they drop out of the top 12 entirely. So it seems like a little bit of a double standard, and she's right. It's clear that the eye test is like a big factor for this committee.
It's a huge self-fulfilling prophecy, because what it is if your eye test tells you Texas Tech is awesome, right? We'll just pick a team. Texas Tech is great, right? My eye test tells me they're fantastic, and they win a game in conference. Now, their opponent isn't knocked down as much because they lost to a team that your eye test said is great. So now that next team plays someone else in that conference, and it's like, oh, it's a good win. They beat the team that's pretty good. And it's like, well, they just lost last week. Yeah, but that was Texas Tech. Eye test says they're great. Meanwhile, any loss in the ACC is seen as a catastrophic loss because nobody has the quote-unquote eye test telling everybody that they're awesome. And so that knocks down the team that lost to the ACC opponent, which means if anybody loses to that team, it's seen as even more catastrophic. And it just continues to build off each other. The love-hate I have with the eye test is Sometimes I agree with it. Right? Sometimes you're just watching a team and you're going, goodness gracious, they are good. They've had a meat grinder of a schedule, and they deserve more. The debate that I constantly find myself having is this. Are we looking for the best, or are we looking for the most deserving? If you're looking for most deserving, eye test should not have a place in the room. And I think in competitive sports, you should be looking for the most deserving. I think fans overwhelmingly want the best. I think fans overwhelmingly want the most talented because they just want to see the best games. They just want to see the most NFL talent. They just want to see the stars. They just want to see a spectacle. From a competitive standpoint, which is, I believe, where most within the sport operate, it should be most deserving. Who cares what you looked like? Did you win? Who cares what you looked like? You lost. You didn't show any potential. It's what was the outcome. That's the hard part. Because in college sports, you can't play everybody. Right? There's over 150 some odd FBS teams, so you can't truly get a feel for how a team on the East Coast is relative to the West Coast without going, Team A played Team B, played Team C, so the common opponents of the common opponents are Team C, and this is how it went, and it gets too ridiculous. So instead you resort to, well, I watched that team play at 7:30, I watched that team play at 9:30, and I kind of felt like that team was better. And that's not an accurate way to settle any sports debate. That's not a way to settle absolutely any sports debate, except it's the only way to settle CFP debates. Do you know what this would solve it for everybody? Do you know what would solve it for me? I would agree with the CFP every time. I don't even know how many people are on the CFP committee. Do we know?
I don't know, but I can check.
All right, do that Googling. If I could pick the people on the CFP committee, I would live with the results. The issue is none of us trust the people on the CFP committee.
There are 12 individuals on the CFP committee.
If I could pick those 12 people, and I wouldn't pick everybody that went to, I wouldn't pick all my Delaware teammates or whatever. And look at that, Delaware's in the CFP every year. If I could pick people that I trusted, knew football, watched football, and would care about it and do a good job, then whatever they picked, I would go with.
You know who's a name that's on the CFP committee?
Who?
Mark D'Antonio.
Sure.
Former coach of Michigan State.
Former coach of Michigan State and was it Cincinnati or something before that?
Yep, Cincinnati.
Right there, in and of itself, I'm already thinking, well, there's bias. He's a Big Ten guy. Right? If it comes down to a 3-loss Big Ten team or a 2-loss ACC team, who's Mark D'Antonio going to think is better? Huh? I didn't pick him, so I'm going to have problems with it. The ACC, they operate in the same realm, and I've used this analogy a bunch. They are a small school football recruit, small high school football recruit, Class A football recruit. You can't just be better than the guy in Class 8, Class 6A. You have to be way better because they're always going to give the benefit of the doubt to the 6A. They're always going to give the benefit of the doubt to the kid that came from a school that has 2,500 kids. Or they're always going to give the benefit of the doubt to the recruit who came from the same school as 9 NFL players. The ACC, to be better, to be ranked higher than an SEC school or a Big Ten school, you have to have 2 less losses. You have to have 2 more top 25 wins. You got to be obviously better. And that's just the life that you're living right now until the reputation bounces back. It's not fair, but life's not fair. Get a helmet. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Coming to a close here. We do have Overdrive coming up next. We start off reacting to the Carolina Hurricanes. 4-1 loss to Washington last night. They don't play again until Friday, so we'll get to stew in that one for a little bit. And also we'll talk about comments from Nic Scourton, one of the Carolina Panthers rookies on defense, talking about a lackadaisical practice week last week leading up to the loss to the Saints. Please, I've asked you a few times. I'll ask you one more time. Subscribe to our YouTube, 99.9 The Fan, and download the 99.9 The Fan app. Thank you to Max for keeping us up and running today. Tomorrow, I'll be doing Adam Gold and this show, so hopefully you'll hang out and see us then. Until then, have a great night, everybody.
Hey, Carolina Panthers fans, it's Dennis Cox from 99.9 The Fan. For all the inside information on your team, join me and my co-host, WRAL TV's Chris Lee, for our podcast, Panthers